I still gotta find an Earth node.
You're never gonna find the Earth node.
Come on, I need to cast it. I need to get an Orb of Destruction, Sean. It is important.
I think we missed out on the Earth node.
The Earth nodes were never really gonna be a thing, but that's neither here nor there.
Tanner, you now have my lava tune.
Oh, go work.
Christ.
Finally do the fucking
What boss do you need lava tune for?
Dune Destroyer.
Oh, do you? Mine be on.
Do you remember?
Oh, Doom Destroyer.
Do you remember? Do you remember?
All of the times we had.
Are we doing combat this session?
We'll find out.
Ooh, Dylan, he said you'll find out.
Hopefully, because Shauna said she was going to be home at 10, and right now it looks like she's going to be home at 8:30.
Oh, well, that's
She lied.
not my fault.
Her?
Yeah, we'll kill her.
If you guys can intercept her and crash into her car,
Got
be
you.
helpful.
So
You what?
I don't have
got
I don't
you.
have Tanner or Dylan on roll 20, but that is fine. I don't technically need you there yet. But are we good to go?
Yeah, finger
Where we
licking
going?
good.
Okay. Last time you guys left the city of Wesmore after finding out that the Red Mantis had seemingly evacuated and left the city, the entire organization, to where you're not quite sure, but you did not bother yourselves with that. Instead, you went north into the Bloodstained Peaks, where you teamed up with a clockwork dragon to take down an Arclight Phoenix and a adult red dragon. Doing so, Boris finally completed the requirements to activate the branded helm. And Titus, you gained the materials so that you could upgrade your armor once you get to a blacksmith who is capable of doing such. And you were able to unlock the full potential of your great sword, Flame Piercer. Afterwards, you guys headed southward from the Bloodstained, further into the Bloodstained Peaks, where you arrived at the entryway to a cave, one that you believed would house the individual known as Hymm, said to be a platinum dragon, and you going there to acquire to open the last latch on Ors's stopwatch, as well as acquire one of the remaining orbs for the Ruby Conductor. However, before you entered, you guys were approached by Ramir Dragnel, one of Winter Xarxus's head generals, who raised the proposition to you, Grant, seemingly giving up on trying to recruit you. He instead simply asked you to consider the possibility of using the stopwatch to go back in time and prevent Winter and Alana from getting roped in to the cult of the Trapped Goddess, letting you know that in their childhood, kind of the core event that he believes to have sparked their joining of the cult was the death of their mother in a fire. He asked you to consider it. He thought it would be a beneficial idea and perhaps a more reliable choice than trusting in the whims of a trapped patron. You believed from your conversation with him that there was probably more he wanted to say but was unable to, presumably because there were other individuals following him, keeping an eye on him, and you all as well. After he bid farewell, you guys entered the cave and were greeted by the man himself, Hymm.
Him. Oh.
You see
100% Himalayan. Sorry.
you see a very, for what you may have expected, younger looking human male, pale skin, white, almost platinum blonde hair, in these nice white kind of, not necessarily noble, but more upper class, puffy, shirts and, silk pants, seemingly expecting you. The cavern itself, behind him, consists of 3 large statues with 3 smaller statues in front of them. One seemingly depicting a male warrior, the other a female caster, and the third a kind of more androgynous, hard to get a read from the statue itself, but some kind of perhaps healer. And then there's a nice kind of lounging area behind that. And then there is a collection of kind of miscellaneous things, some seemingly large skeletal remains, an anchor, a set of armor, a large, probably giant sword kind of stuck into the stone of the cave floor. And then at the very back of the cave, there's, despite not seeing any on your way to the entryway, there appears to be some kind of opening that light is able to shine down, and foliage and grass is able to grow within the cave itself. And at the center of that is a large stone with different runes etched on it, and 2 on each side, statues of a lion, an owl, a snake, and a spider.
Oopsies.
But you all walk in, and he kind of stares at you all. Well, it's about time. I've been expecting you all. I assume you know who I am?
Yep.
I am.
It's him.
Well, then I believe we have lots to discuss. Please, come on in, make yourself comfortable. And he kind of walks back towards the, towards the larger fountain, behind his more kind of, roomy rug and carpets and pillows.
Oh, you're following.
Bro, you be living here?
Yes, actually, I find it comfortable.
Quite open concept.
It lets you stay away from much of what is happening on the continent, and let's just say I feel I got my fill of political strife and monsters when I was younger.
So, like, what's all this shit in here? Like, what, like, do you, like, collect this stuff? Where did you get this stuff?
No, that
How
is
did you get in here?
that is accurate and apt. I'm a collector of sorts by nature. But yes, most of this was from my journeys when I was once a champion of Ruba. It's just more memories now. I have more elsewhere, but this was the most I felt comfortable taking with me. I mean, I could go into more detail if you like, but I assure you, there's probably more pressing things to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, do you know why we're here?
I do. I believe you predominantly have 2 reasons for your appearance.
Go for 'em.
Titus, you carry the Ruby Conductor, a very interesting modern artifact.
Keeping it stylish.
Yes, it solves it's centuries-long problem Aruba's been facing. Supposedly. We'll have to see when you actually make use of it. And of course, Grant, you're looking for, well, you just need me to unlock the last latch of the stopwatch.
Yup.
But, I mean, there is a little bit of conversation about both of those we should probably have beforehand.
So where do you want to start?
I mean, that is up to you. You're guests in my home. You're welcome to be here as long as you need to learn whatever you want to learn that I can offer. If you have a preference, we can begin wherever you want.
Go ahead, then, Titus. Captain, my captain.
Oh, no, Grant, you go ahead first.
Oh, Captain.
The Ruby Conductor is maybe a quicker conversation, so we could begin there.
Sure, tell me everything you know.
In what way? About the Conductor itself, or about the Titans it's supposed to be able to control or seal or destroy?
How do I
all of that.
how do I
all
make
of that.
sure that all of it just gets erased?
So you're looking to remove the Titans permanently.
I never said that. How would I?
Well, once you acquire the remaining 3, I believe, catalysts for the Conductor, it will channel, now this is just from my general knowledge I've collected, the abyssal energy that the scholars who created it designed it to pull from. Those energy, the energy then has the ability to do a couple of things. The first, well, all of which would require the Titans to reform. The Conductor itself has no control over that. You would have to use the 4 relics with the blood of the heirs and command the Titans to rise. I believe, based on my general knowledge, you've already, well, not necessarily you, but one of the Titans has already been revived. Believe it's Alia, the Air Titan. Which you guys know, this Taurus,
we did know that.
Taurus did this to overthrow the Drow Empress. You are in possession of 2 of the relics already, Iron Fang and Drown. You would just need Tender Strike. Though I will say it is a complicated matter you find yourself in. Your opponents of the Cult of the Trapped Goddess want to bring the Titans back to use them as well, and you need to bring them back to destroy, control, or repair them, whichever you so choose. Ideally, it means the blood has to be drawn and applied to each of the relics, and the person who holds the relics is the most important part of that. You all having 2 of them is great. Acquiring Tender Strike would be the final move, ideally. Though it is apt to know that Tender Strike, the heirs for Tender Strike in particular, have always been more Wesmar focused. As such, I imagine that your opponents already have most, if not all, of the blood required to activate the blade. I believe they're probably just missing 1. But once you were to do so, you would summon the Titan, as Alia already has been. They will be summoned in their damaged state, which means they will be open to manipulation that the Conductor should make more easily. It should make it more easy for you to carry out. Mind you, the relics themselves allow for simple manipulation and commands, but too long in their damaged state with just the relics will eventually lead to the Titans going berserk. Most likely, a consciousness will return and they will enter their full monstrous form, which will lead to disaster.
I see that.
Once the conductor has all of the energy it needs, I believe it will be apparent to you as the wielder of it, what kind of combinations or mechanisms you have to use physically on the conductor to do whatever you want. But you'll most likely be posed with the option of restoring the Titans to their original form, which will put their mental state back intact, making them less easy to manipulate, and the relics basically worthless at that point. You would most likely be able to put the Titans into a weakened state, at which point you would have to strike the killing blows yourself. While they are gargantuan Titans, they are able to be felled. Once a blow has been dealt to them that is fatal, the normal process is that the Titans themselves evaporate. Their energy returns back to the territory of the tribes that once worshipped them and imbues it with life. It's actually a very beneficial cycle.
I'm gonna
But
pause you right there, though. Why do you say that's the normal process? Has this been done before?
I mean, the Titans have been defeated once before. That is why they are in their current state, where the artifacts can bring them back. The Titans have been fought twice. Once, put them into their damaged state. The second time, they were removed from their damaged state into their bestial state and then defeated. What we learned over the years is that it does not mean they are gone for good, just that the artifacts wait for them to regain their strength, and once they have, they can be reawakened again. So you have the option, in that regard, to either end the process or let it continue as kind of a natural cycle. Mind you, as long as people exist who will take advantage of that cycle, there's an argument that the Titans are too dangerous to let exist.
How long are they in the weakened state for?
That is very dependent on the individual Titan. Barim, the Water Titan, exists in his... Forgive me, are you asking how long are they... how long do they lie dormant until it takes for the artifact to revive them, or once you revive them, how long are they in their weakened state before they go berserk?
The second one.
Yes, so that one is dependent on the individual Titans. Barim has the most self-control of the four Titans himself. As such, he is able to prolong, even in his weakened state, how long it lasts until he goes berserk. Most likely, Barim could exist for months before he finally loses control. Alia and Ajax probably have about a span of a month at most before they lose control. If Shula, the Fire Titan, is revived, I would bet you have only 24 hours at most before she goes berserk.
Oh my god.
That is simply their nature, however. It's also a testament to their strengths. Shula's very powerful, very dangerous, and as such, her power can only exist for so long before erupting and being released, whereas Ajax and Alia are more the middle of the road, and Barim is arguably the weakest, but again, those are all complicated. There is a possibility that upon the Titans being revived in their weakened state, a large enough force could delay, restrain, and immobilize the Titans, enabling strike forces to engage with them and defeat them. It's not difficult, it just requires a lot of manpower. Otherwise, the best course of action is to revive each Titan one by one and defeat them that way. Like I said, once a final blow has been struck on them, a fatal blow, I imagine, if it works properly, the conductor will give you... You will know you could use the conductor to absorb the essence of the Titan itself, which will prevent it from re-entering its rebirth cycle, promptly making the relic useless. Theoretically, you could pick and choose which Titans you'd want to remove from the resurrection cycle, but I would advise against that kind of decision.
Who can make that decision?
The one who wields the conductor would be able to decide whether...
So,
To be fair, we don't know if once you activate the conductor at full power, if it requires a certain type of person to wield it, or if anyone can command it. The conductor is new. It's never been used before in relation to the actual Titans. The traditional method is just kill them and wait until they come back.
any other questions, Captain?
I have a question.
I honestly didn't even expect to get a fraction of what he gave me.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of insane, but he
Why
does know everything.
are you telling us all of this?
Yeah, why are you? Lonely?
So,
Damn, it hurts.
Damn.
roughly
Just realized 92 is half of 99.
roughly 200 years after the creation of our world as we know it, was when the Titans were first defeated. They were defeated by a heroic warrior who is more aptly described as a demigod. He on his own went and slayed each 4 of the Titans. Being it was the first conflict with them, he did not know, to be fair to him, that they would enter weakened states and eventually lose their minds. He thought he had simply defeated them, and he was wrong. Before he could clean up that mess, he was defeated. Another 100 years, I would say. That's maybe not apt. Probably 60 years passed, and then the Titans arose as a new problem once again. It was then that I joined a party of heroes and undertook the slaying of the Titans.
Yep.
So when you ask why I feel comfortable sharing this information or even giving it to you, it's because I've been in your shoes before, so to say, and I know the damage they can do if left unchecked.
Right.
I might live isolated from Ruba, but it is still my home.
Who's the demigod that did this?
It's Frisliv.
That is correct.
And why did he do it?
He was trying to kill him, bro.
Why are we killing him?
Ask him.
Who am I asking?
Him. He knows everything.
Who's him?
That would be me.
Oh.
Why Frisliv set off to kill the Titans is, by all standards in the history books, simply because he was requested to as a heroic knight, trying to save the people of Ruba, the growing and
I'm gonna stop you right
developing
there,
people.
and I hate to interrupt. What's the Red Queen have to do with any of this?
What? No, don't answer his question. Not right now. Continue with your...
Isn't what that's what Frisliv was fucking around with, the Red Queen?
No.
But we'll get to the Red Queen.
You are swapping the recent activities of the mage known as the Red Queen with the long...
She's a mage?
Yes, but the long-term... You're swapping her with the long-term epitaph of the Trapped Goddess.
Oh, Essendale is not the Red Queen. I
Correct.
remember that.
Though, I mean, for all we know, there might be records of some people describing her as such. Essendale's whole motif is blood, but I don't want to
Called her
confuse you in that
homo.
way. There are no official records of the Red Queen and Essendale sharing any kind of likeness or being one person.
Real. Alright. Good, Dylan. Can you continue?
Right. Frisliv
Sorry.
was a traveling adventurer, following in his father's footsteps, is my understanding. Trying to broker peace between the rising kingdoms of Ruba. The then kingdoms of Bismarck and Yalzin, which are now the two longest-standing houses of the Concord, but originally their family lines trace back to two emperors. At their request, they were worried about the cult-like activities of many of the races that inhabited Ruba, and they believed these titans were a threat to all mankind, and it seemed Frisliv agreed. That is why he originally set out to slay them. It seems that doing so eventually led to his own demise in a complicated matter.
What do you know about that?
I
What
know
do you know about the wizard?
that is most likely a misnomer.
Okay.
From my brief conversations with others, he is more likely a paladin of Essendale.
How old is
One-
but not notable?
At his time, you could argue he was probably her champion, and thus that was why he was able to conduct such a large-scale spell effect to affect Frisliv and lead to his defeat. But don't get it wrong, the man wouldn't have been able to do it without the hatred that the tribesmen and women who worship the Titans felt towards Frisliv. When someone comes and slays your gods, they don't take too kindly to that. The only reason they took a little more warmly to my actions was that they believed, or rather were able to see what the Titans really were when they finally went berserk. They were not the same gods they once followed. And by that point, most of the tribes had been dwindling due to the Concord's efforts to establish an official centralized government in Ruba. But yes, so it's a little bit self-indulgent. I don't want to see the continent fall, and there's an argument that if I had the tools you do now, I might have made a different call back then.
Are you sitting in that chair, Grant?
Yeah, I'm in this chair.
I'm gonna go sit over here. I'll fucking.
Please,
sit down.
please. It's a very comfy pillow. Almost like a big old
Okay.
beanbag.
Now,
Like, how do we know we're gonna be able to take on a weakened Titan?
we don't.
You
We
really,
gotta find out.
You really don't until you try. Like I said, you have potentially an advantage in that you have time. If you can convince the people of Ruba to lend as much aid and strength as possible to your endeavor, there are more kingdoms and organizations now walking the continent than when I fought them. Ideally, everyone working together can restrain a Titan and give you apt opening. You would really... It'd be less like fighting a monster and more like scaling a structure seeking a weak point to destroy it.
I have a question about the Titans.
Sure.
When the artifacts are when the artifacts are activated, are they summoned from their planes or are they dormant here?
The Titans were never inhabitants of the planes of fire, water, air, or earth. They are children of the primordial gods of those planes. and as such, they were birthed here in Ruba.
Okay.
While you could argue that it would make more sense for them to appear in their natural habitats, the seas, the mountains, the high peaks or forests, the blood-stained peaks, whatever, the history has shown us that instead, activating the relic allows you to simply conjure the Titan into existence in front of the wielder. Hence why Alia was able to be summoned underground despite it not being her preferred terrain. Though it helped that the area she was summoned had ties to the Moon Elves, one of her dedicated tribesfolk. Being surrounded in an area that was inhabited by one of the kin of the Titans makes it easier to... makes it harder, rather, for the Titans to restore their own mental thoughts. So summoning Barim in an ocean would be beneficial. Summoning Shula in the blood-stained peaks or a cascade of fire would be beneficial. Ajax in the mountains and so forth.
Interesting. Everyone good on the Titan stuff?
Yeah, I think.
Do you
They can be
remember the
beaten.
Titans?
They can be.
We can beat them.
Yes.
I'm scared.
No, I mean, though it seems that seems to be where you lie, there is an element of, upon the relics bringing the Titan back, the conductor should also have the power to restore the Titan to its original form.
Is that good?
Ideally, one could do this.
What would you prefer, him? If you say I gave this to you right now, and I'm just fucking holding it out. What if I just gave this to you? What would you do?
No, I would have to.
Mr. All-Knowing.
I would have to acquire the other two.
Fucking fancy fucking house.
That's a cave. I would have to acquire the other two.
It's a cave.
Bro, it's got a magical ass barrier, bro.
I would have to
Alright.
acquire the other two activations, as I do have the third one you need. So, which I will be giving you if you so.
Right now? Alright, let me have it.
I was going to wait till after you all return from using the stopwatch.
Now or we betray everyone.
No. I'm ready to ask questions so we can use the stopwatch.
I want to express that the only
Alright,
reason I'm holding
great
off is that if you fail in using the stopwatch, there is little point to me in giving you the activation for the conductor, and at least then I
Wait, what, do
know.
we die? Do we...
Well, that is a possibility.
Okay, great. Love that. What are the odds of that?
Well, we'll talk about that in a second.
Right.
What I would do with the conductor would largely depend on when the relics are activated and which Titans arise. If Shula were to arise before the other two who have not yet awakened, I would most likely restore Barim to his original form. If the wielder of Windvane were to lose control of Alia, I would restore Ajax as well. The two can be reasoned to defeat their siblings. And then the complication is then weakening them again and defeating them. Like I said, in their weakened state, they are more like trying to take down a structure. In their prime original state, they are monsters. In their monstrous state, they are disaster. But that is to be avoided at all cost. I think, however, I would choose for the greater good, I would choose to eradicate all four with the conductor.
That's what I'm
If
thinking.
pressed by a force of neutrality, I could be convinced to allow them to perish and return to the normal cycle, leaving the conductor as a last case scenario. For what it's worth, if the Titans were defeated and put to rest, you would not have to deal with them again in your lifetime. Nor probably 3 generations worth of lifetimes after yours. The time the Titans take to reform is long and immense.
Alright, let's kick their asses then, bro.
So now
Give us the third piece now, though.
I
Ready?
like to think of the stopwatch as a test. For you in particular as well, Elwin. I have a interest to see how well you are going to perform. And if you and your compatriots return back after using the stopwatch, not only will I grant Titus one of the activation orbs, but you have a very interesting instrument that you've carved from the mountains here in the peaks.
Oh, so you're saying that Grant's stopwatch is just for me to fulfill my goals?
No. It's at least as far as my understanding, it is really another
I'm more
side
endgame than
of your
him.
problem.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Your conductor deals with the Titans. Your stopwatch, if you plan to use it how my intuition tells me, will more be of use to deal with the trapped goddess. Both are pressing matters of equally destructive outcomes if they go wrong.
Yeah.
Who is Martha Stewart? Did Matt name himself Martha Stewart?
No,
What?
Matt's
Oh,
in
Mike
here.
Did.
I want to see if I
What?
could change my
What?
name.
You know
but I
who
sure
found
can.
how to do
Stewart
it.
is?
Wait, why is he
Isn't that a town of
Stewart?
Salem name?
That's Martha Stewart. No, she's a real person. She's a famous
Okay.
cooking lady.
Oh, it's also from town of Salem.
Oh, flubbery.
Alright, continue, sorry.
But Elwin, if you and your compatriots were to come back successful from the use of the stopwatch, I would basically feel assured that you would be ready to take on both the Titans and the Cult of the Trapped Goddess head on. Which is why I would give you the third act. I would give you my activation orb that I have been protecting, and I would also enhance your instrument.
Enhance
This is the
it.
chat. Wait, Tanner. So you're gonna have to get us through this, or else we're gonna die.
Oh, bro, I'm gonna fuck it up. Nah, we aight.
It's a test for all of you, but as a fellow bard, I have interest in seeing if you have what it takes to stand with the rest of your companions.
Oh, I hope it's not a prostate exam. I didn't study.
Ooh, it is. Ooh, and I'm the examiner.
Alright, what do we gotta
Ooh.
ask him about the watch then, bro?
Yeah, are we
Just go
ready?
in.
Are we good? No, we can't just go in. It's gonna take a while. This is important. All right, Hymm.
Before I open the watch, we should
Right,
probably
I'm-
talk about how it is actually used.
There's a few more things I want to talk about before we even get to that.
Sure.
Great. So, tell me about Frisliv. Your opinions.
My opinions of him.
Yes.
I think his heart when he was a warrior fighting for Ruba was in the right place. I think he failed to try to converse with the different tribes of Ruba before siding with the empires. I do not blame him for that decision. I don't know what centuries of imprisonment and mutation has done to him. I do know that if you were to go back in time and undo that, he may be a different person. I mean, that is most likely the course of action that would happen. Going back in time and preventing him from being sealed means he does not sit in ice for decades, watching as the world turns onwards. Does it mean that he marches forward and fights the Titans with me? I don't know. Does it mean that he takes an active stand against the Concord at points in history? I'm not sure. That is part of the risk of the stopwatch. Is that changing a point in time changes all that comes after it.
Is it selfish?
There has rarely been a use of the stopwatch that has not been selfish in some nature.
It's been used before.
Yes.
Let's see.
You will be the 5th person to use it, if you do.
And the other reasons were... I got a lot on my mind.
I can tell you about the other uses if you want to know. If it will help you figure out on what might be the best use of it.
Yeah.
The first use of the stopwatch is the one we know the least about. Used by the gods Asmon and Silkwyn to return back to before Ezendel escaped Aruba. It is said in stories and legends that Ezendel realized her power as a primordial upon encountering the primordial owl Demetrix. Demetrix attempted to eliminate Ezendel, believing her to be a threat equal to her and the other primordials, but not believing she was originally meant to be a primordial. Unfortunately for Demetrix, she learned that Ezendel cannot be killed, and thus the primordial was both blinded and made wingless. A long time passed before the other primordial realized the wounds Demetrix had been dealt, and before they caught on to what Ezendel was doing across Ruba. But they became quite aware once she left Ruba and disaster started to strike elsewhere. As such, Silkwyn and Asmon, together in a very rare alliance, I would like to state, took an artifact back in time with them to right before Ezendil was about to leave the borders of Ruba. They were able to turn her to stone and imprison her, preventing her from doing any additional harm she had done outside of Ruba originally. Now, it is difficult to say what that harm was, the damage that had been done, or what sort of events changed from the god's actions. We are living on a timeline where Ezendel did not escape Ruba, after all. What we know is simply through legends and tales. It's also why we don't quite know anything about the actual use of the stopwatch from its first use, any of its rules, any of the stipulations or events that occur with it. We learned more upon the stopwatch's second use. A powerful mage from the continent of Sorzan had recently lost numerous of his allies in a fight against a greater evil. He believed that there was no way for him and his allies to win and vanquish that evil without having prevented earlier losses in earlier battles. So he begged his comrades to stall their enemy as long as possible and traveled to Ruba under the assumption that a relic such as the stopwatch might exist. He underwent a tense journey with a couple of sellswords, acquired the stopwatch, and was the first one to the first mortal to actually use it, telling us that it's not just an artifact the gods use.
Hmm.
This mage, Jarvan, had very clear knowledge of the point in time he wanted to go to.
He was the second? He was the first, technically? Jeez.
As with this knowledge in mind, he opened the stopwatch and learned that upon designating the time you wish to go back to, you are granted a brief insight to the time period you are traveling to. The stopwatch reads your intentions and desires and presents you with information to help aid you in the time period you are going, perhaps telling you something you did not know prior, helping identify the largest threat or issue that you might be seeking to thwart. Upon traveling back, we also gained knowledge that the adventurers Jarvan hired, he was able to take back with him.
Thank God.
The stopwatch does not just take only the single individual.
Does it have a limit?
It has not been tested, but Jarvan traveled back with 3 individuals, along with himself, and the third use of the stopwatch included upwards of 8 individuals. Past that, we have not tested.
Did it help him win the war with the greater evil?
Upon traveling back to that time, Jarvan played a very critical but unobtrusive role. He provided covering fire and spells and used the knowledge he had of what were to occur to aid his former self and his allies without ever making contact with them. He prevented any interaction in the past with himself or others, and doing so enabled less losses on his allies' side. And after he had fixed the core event he had picked, the one battle he felt had the most losses and the biggest impact, he returned to the present day. When he returned, the adventurers he had taken with him seemed to have little to no recollection of why they were with him. Only for a brief period of time did they even know his name and remember him seeking them out for help. Upon returning to his allies in Sorzan, he found additional battles had gone better with the events having changed. He saved many lives of his allies, and they were able to overcome the greater evil. Jarvan was able to jot down most of his experiences in one of his logbooks before the passage of time slowly corrected his memory. If asked about it today, outside of his knowledge that he's read in his own records, he would tell you he does not remember using the stopwatch, nor any of the events from the timeline he fixed. All of that has been forgotten. What we learned from this is that use of the stopwatch, if successful upon the wielder, will result in our current existence being altered and the prior one being forgotten. It is difficult to know exactly how much of that gets changed. It very much depends. The third use of the stopwatch was by a collection of celestials. Powerful celestials, not just your simple angels, but close to high-level seraphim. After the struggle, a period of conflict between the gods, Asmodeus, the Prince of the Nine Hells, walked out victorious over a former primordial known as Rosari, a celestial by nature. Our knowledge of the struggle tells us that Asmodeus made many deals and received immense power to overcome Rosari. Not only that, but in the battle, arguably considered to be the bloodiest of all the battles between the primordials, Asmodeus tore Rosari from limb to limb, wing to wing. it was one of the first accounts of a primordial being fully erased from our plane of existence, and all planes of existence. Now, Rosari has since been replaced by other deities, but the Seraphim, after the struggle, did not agree with the lack of punishment and repercussions Asmodeus wound up facing at the hands of Silkwind, the greater primordial of the Celestials. Asmodeus basically walked out scot-free and essentially on the same level as the primordials in terms of power. The Celestials who used the stopwatch found and stress-tested the limits of it. Previously, the other two uses showed that if you know the time you wish to go back to, the stopwatch will enable you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Upon designating their time, the vision they were given was a bleak one that showed they would most likely result in failure, even if they attempted to change the course of events with all their might. As such, before activating the stopwatch, they considered other time periods surrounding the battle to see if going back to any of those and making additional changes would bring about a brighter future. They were able to designate 4 different time periods before the stopwatch gave them no further option. An important distinction was that when they viewed their first time period that they had decided, and decided to move on to a second one, they were still able to use the stopwatch and head back to the first time they had designated. Upon not feeling comfortable about the first or the second and choosing a third time period, the stopwatch informed them they had to choose one of the 2 prior time periods to give up on. It would not allow them to go back to it. What this informed us is that upon using the stopwatch, the user may designate 4 different time periods maximum, but is able to only hold 1 additional time period to go back to, in addition to their final one they choose. In short, the user can store 2 time periods they pose to the stopwatch and then select from one of those 2.
Mm-hmm.
But if they are going to use all 4 of the time periods they can pick, they will have to give up on 2 of those. The stopwatch will not allow them to go back, and though the Celestials tried, selecting the time period again does not work. You cannot double up as one of the 4 uses. Now, what I'm about to tell you is core to the point I made earlier about you all coming back victorious. We only know this information because in the celestial realm, there is a codex that records all events that higher seraphim experience. It's a mystical, divine object that chronicles the events without any outside interference. And so it chronicled the use of the stopwatch of these seraphim, the 8 of them that wound up going back in time. The time period they wound up picking proved not to be adequate. And not only did Rosari still remain vanquished by Asmodeus, but as far as everybody knows, those 8 seraphim never existed.
Huh.
Their defeat in the time period they went back to resulted in permanent erasure. Outside of the divine knowledge of the Chronicle, which is the sole reason we know of this attempt. Now, the only reason I know about the Chronicle and what it details of these Celestials is that the 4th use of the stopwatch was at my own hand, and I needed to know as much as I physically could. I sought
What
out
did you use it for?
in my battle with the Primordials, the Titans, I lost 2 of my allies in combat with Alia. At that point, we had already defeated Ajax, and after Alia, it was just me and another companion to defeat Shula in Barim. We managed to do so, but the strain of the fights wound up costing my other companion their life as well. I believed that if I used the stopwatch, similar to how Jarvan did, perhaps I could get a successful victory over the Titans, with all three of my other compatriots walking out with me. And I found that using the stopwatch, I was able to save my companions from their demise against Alia. Now, this is important, but not for you, because none of you exist, at least as far as I know, in the time period you plan to go to. I, however, traveled back to a time period where myself did exist. And unlike Jarvan, I was not comfortable trying to aid myself and my allies without making my presence known. As such, when one enters the past and meets their prior selves, there is no acknowledgement from any of the active agents of that time period of your existence. The same person cannot exist at the same time twice, and it will, the flow of time at least, prefer the original. As such, going back in time and meeting oneself, you have to conduct a merger, where you take on you become the one existing in that time period. You retain all your knowledge and everything you brought with you from using the stopwatch, but upon completing your task, the stopwatch does not return you to present day. So after I took over the physical form of my prior self, I led my companions to victory, and I lived out the rest of that timeline. We defeated all 4 of the Titans without a single casualty of our party. But time is cruel, and fate sometimes leaves no room for change. Despite defeating the 4 Titans and having momentary reprieve, all 3 of my companions eventually fell ill and victim to wounds from the battle nonetheless. I say I probably brought them 5 years max past their original deaths. Some things you cannot fully change. Now mind you, I was able to let them live as heroes for 5 years, and I was able to get 5 more years out of them. But some events are core. And perhaps I am a pessimist in this matter, but I believe their deaths was a core event. No matter what I did or how many times I might try, I believe that after fighting the Titans, they were destined to die. That's why I would urge you, when you consider dates to go back to with the stopwatch, you consider how likely of a chance is it that the events you're trying to fix are going to happen again. I believe the stopwatch is at its best when the target when the event occurs by the hands of one very powerful force that can be stopped. I would argue Jarvan got lucky. The one battle he picked was the right one, and his companion's survival from that one battle enabled survival elsewhere. Whereas though I was able to carry my companions to victory, their survival was never going to change. At least not long after their original deaths.
Sean.
Mm-hmm.
How many years would I have to go back to save First Live?
Frisliv Sealing, you don't have a date yet. You have not been told one. You know it's a very long time ago. What I will tell you is upon thinking of the actual event, upon thinking of Frisliv Sealing, the stopwatch will tell you how far back you're gonna go.
And I'm guessing it's worse the farther back I go, since it changes so much.
That depends. What are you willing to do? You're all able to act in that prior time, without people knowing who you are, or most of them even living long enough to see any kind of hint of your existence in the future. That's a benefit of going far back into the past, is that your presence there is not paradoxal.
I mean, I technically wouldn't even be alive then.
Precisely.
So, technically, my presence shouldn't matter whatsoever.
Now, there is an argument. Let's say you go back and prevent Frisliv's sealing. Before the stopwatch juts you back into our modern time,
Do I even need to...
you would perchance have the ability to talk to Frisliv.
Oh, really?
If you'd want to give him advice on things to avoid or things to keep in mind, you could. You could attempt to limit the amount of events that may change if you are saving the life of one person. If they know not to act in certain ways, they will not cause waves within the timeline drastically.
If that's what you would do,
Of course, it would depend
what's
what the
one way I
stopwatch
can
shows you.
make sure some random guy Frisliv's never met before in his life will do exactly what I say?
Well, if
How do
you-
I tell him that the Red Queen maybe just, like,
well,
tell him that they have a weakened state? There's a lot of things, like, I could do to
Well,
tell him.
It really is a question of how much do you need to tell Frisliv. He wants you to go back to prevent his sealing. Doing so is going to be an event that arguably saves his life.
Yes.
Now, I'm not Frisliv, but if someone claimed that they just saved my life, and it seemed like that was the case, I may be more willing to listen to further words they have. Now, what you tell him and what you want him to or not to do is up to you. But if your core worry is that you need him to stay safe and take as little action as possible until he meets you again, which may sound insane to him, but again, he is a demigod. His lifespan is different from yours and mine. He may hold you to that. And though he may find in time, on a corrected timeline, or a changed timeline, that he has not met you for centuries, that memory will probably still stick, and I imagine he will still hold his actions if he truly believes you. It would really be a matter of how convincing are you to a man like him.
Would it be bad if I told him about what would have happened if I didn't save him? Is that like a stopwatch no-no?
I had conversation upon reliving the couple of years after my companion's death, but doing so with them. And out of my own worry, I tried to keep as much of the knowledge of the stopwatch to myself, but it did come out from time to time. And I found that it did not cause immense disruption to the world I knew. But mind you, I was also quite willing and comfortable living in a changed time if it meant living with my companions. So perhaps I see things a little differently. It is my understanding that perhaps saving Frisliv might radically, depending on what he chooses to do in the future, or the past, I guess, change all of your lives. But most likely, you are going back to save Frisliv, not to defeat Ezendel. What you are all doing now, I would argue, is by the fates itself, a quest to defeat Rexendrole and prevent her return, to defeat the Titans and prevent their return. Like I said, there is no Ruby Conductor at the time that me and Frisliv fought the Titans. So his action, whether he joins me or not, and whether things change or not, the Titans will one day return. And Rexendrole is not free during the time Frisliv is sealed. She is sealed away, simply trying to provide her power to a soul champion.
Mm-hmm.
You are not stopping the event that frees her from her prison. That would be a different story that would more radically impact you all. You are
tell him to keep out for a name.
You are at least a couple of layers of key events removed from the event you've chosen. The closer you get to something that directly impacts your life is more complicated.
Right, okay. Okay, interesting.
Arguably.
Now, what are my other options?
Well, that is entirely up to you all. There's an argument that you don't even use the stopwatch, which, if that is the choice you make, I will not.
What's the best choice for the world? What's the most unselfish choice I can make?
That is a question. I don't really have an answer to that. But I believe, from when I used the stopwatch and the feeling I got from it, that I was able to choose not to use it after designating a time period. One does not have to commit to using the stopwatch after they open it, but I would also probably wager that if you open the stopwatch and choose not to use it after giving it times, it closes again.
Right.
And mind you, your quest to find and open the stopwatch is one that was enabled by a long time of unuse. The stopwatch itself had to be gathered by somebody. For people who know of the rights to open the stopwatch had to pass on that knowledge. It does not guarantee that in your lifetime you would be able to use the stopwatch again. And I can make no promises that a person is even able to use the stopwatch twice in their life. For all I know, attempting to do so the stopwatch would stop them. I would have to attempt to use it myself to know whether that's true. Something I don't particularly have a reason to do.
Okay.
So I would raise this to you all. How many events can you think of that you might want to go and change? What are they, and how would they impact the current world we live in? Those would be what I would think about.
Well, what worries me about freeing a demigod is the fact that it's a demigod. It's not someone who would have, lived 30 more years then died eventually anyway. So wouldn't that have quite a large change?
Frisliv right now exists in a state of... He is similar to Asmodeus in that he is not technically a primordial, but he essentially has the power to bestow immense ability to mortals like he was a primordial or an ascended god. Freeing Frisliv means that he is a demigod who lives through both the struggle and the reascension. It is possible that he becomes a proper deity over time. That would mean he would have less ability to physically act on the continent after a certain time period threshold. Comparatively, saving a demigod is perhaps less dangerous than saving a mortal with a long lifespan like an elf or an archdruid.
Well, I don't really have much of a choice. I don't think there's anything else I really want to do with it. What do I do with it when I'm done with it? When we get back?
Oh, it will handle that itself. The stopwatch will not be in your
Okay.
possession once you return, and it'll be up to those who wish to seek it out again to acquire it.
But it's in the same spots?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mind you, the most difficult part about the stopwatch is finding the actual artifact itself. The easiest part are the people who know the rites and rituals to activate it, passing on that knowledge to those who deserve to have it to aid future adventurers.
Right. But I'm gonna forget about it anyway, apparently. Crazy.
Most likely, considering you are not going to merge into a past self. I've attained all my knowledge because I took over and, you could argue, replaced the timeline I came from with a new one. That is not
No.
what you are doing.
Well,
Your
okay.
use will be more like Jarvan's, where you will go, you will make a change, you will come back to this time, and you will figure
But-
out what has changed when you return.
Won't I just be, like, a guy? Like, if my powers are from Frisliv, and I just changed the last 300 years,
Not if he owes
won't
you.
I just come back as a guy?
Not if he owes you.
Okay.
Don't forget, Frisliv
I
found...
feel like I'm worried that I'm not gonna know who any of these people are. Because if he just owes me, then he's just naturally gonna...
All I'll say is Frisliv found you on this timeline. Giving him incentive to find you again would be in your best interest if that is something you're worried about. But like I said, fate works in mysterious ways. Just because you fix an event that you might feel is crucial to you does not mean that you will not still be here when you get back.
Right.
But we won't know until it happens, of course.
Yeah.
That is the risk you run with this artifact.
So walk me through this one more time. I open the stopwatch, I designate the timeline, I choose who I'm going with, and then we go, and that's it?
You choose who you're going with. You designate
Yeah.
the time period. It will give
Yeah.
you a brief glimpse into that time period to try to provide you with aid for what you wish to accomplish.
Yup, gotcha.
If you do not wish to go to that time period, you can
You can
choose
change
another
it.
one.
But
can
if you choose
hold-
another one after that, then
You choose to
lose it.
hold which time period you want.
Mm-hmm.
If you could pick something as your first point in time,
and then
view a
choose
second
different one.
choose a second one, choose a
And then go
third one,
back.
and then choose to hold the first time period. You just will simply have to give up whatever one you do not want to go to. You'll only be able to have 2 active before you make the choice.
Yeah. Okay. I think I get it. And then how do I get back? Like, when we're done, is there like a button on the stopwatch that I just press and it takes us back?
It chooses when your time is up in that period. It
Well, you
judges
mean I could
based
just-
off your desires and what you are there to change when it believes you have completed what you have gone to do.
So the stopwatch knows what I'm gonna do with in this time period?
It reads your desires, yes.
Oh my god. Alright, everyone ready?
Yippee!
Now, 1 second, and
You going on a trip?
he heads on over to the statue of the owl. You see he kind of holds his hands there,
You better fucking give me a favor.
and then he walks back over, and he
We
kind
need
of
to kill Titans.
extends his hands, if you do not mind letting me see the stopwatch.
I hold it out in my hand.
And you watch as he runs his hands over it, and this platinum glow shines. And you hear faintly the hooting of an owl, and the last lock. And now it's just waiting for you to open it, and he hands it back. Oh, I guess there is one other thing I wanted to do before you all left. It's been a while, so give me one quick second. sure he can do this.
Ooh, medium fossil.
Medium.
Okay. So, him, kind of you watch as he kind of extends his hands, and a translucent table emerges in the center between you all, and this energy wells up in his hands, and the table becomes filled with food.
Feel a long rest?
This will both give you a long rest and the benefits of Hero's Feast.
Ooh.
Nice. I don't know what Hero's Feast does.
So,
It doesn't do anything. Don't worry about it.
you guys will if you guys choose to partake in this meal before you
Yeah,
use
bro.
the stopwatch,
We
you will
could
be
die.
you'll be cured. You'll be cured of all diseases and poison. You'll become immune to poison and being frightened. You'll make all wisdom saving throws with advantage, and your hit point maximum will increase by 2d10.
Like
Do
temporary.
we need
points?
to roll our own 2d10?
And this lasts for 24 hours.
No, it's better, Tanner, because then you can heal it back if you lose it.
Yeah, so feel free to roll your 2d10. Yeah.
I clicked D100.
I got 8. I mean, I'm just going to put it as temp HP and just remember I have 8 temp HP.
I got
Yeah,
8.
that's what I would probably recommend doing, is put it as 10.
Wait, I
but
thought it was
remember,
2D10.
It is 2d10.
Oh.
Damn, Tanner got 17.
I want to have sex.
Yeah, so the most important things will be that you will
I
be
got a
immune to
2, bro.
you'll be immune to poison and being frightened, and you'll make wisdom saves with advantage. That'll be the thing you want to
Immune to poison damage or the poison condition?
immune to poison and being frightened. So I imagine it is poison condition and damage.
Unlucky. Okay, are we going?
Yeah, we're going.
You guys can activate this. Don't forget to long rest on your character sheet if you haven't, because this is also the point where there is something special about this feast in particular that gives you the long rest effect as well.
Love that.
So,
Everyone ready?
Yes.
Boris.
Matt's ready.
Good.
Yes, I'm ready. Almost made.
All right. Everyone,
okay.
hold on tight.
You all gather around the stopwatch, kind of form a circle around it as Grant holds it and opens it.
Oh, what
And
time is it?
You feel in your mind, Grant, that the stopwatch is asking for either an exact date or a description of the event you want to go back to.
Oh, this morning, so I can take that nice shit again.
I'll describe the battle with Frisliv,
Okay, so Frisliv's ceiling.
cause I don't know what that time is. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you gain a brief insight to this surrounding event.
So do I just gain it, or
You all see in front
Okay.
of you as the stopwatch basically flashes up and basically sends you. You are now ethereally watching, as if you're on the ethereal plane, just looking in on a scenery. It is a seemingly kind of dark, cold night in a tavern, and you see an elven man in wearing armor, but over the armor you see these black, gold, and green robes, similar to what Frisliv described to you, Grant. And he is sitting at a table enjoying a meal when the door to the tavern opens and a larger, muscular, tall man with a white beard and long white hair and a ponytail sits down in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the taller gentleman who walked in go, Yelkin, why are you still here? This place is about to become a wasteland. They're marching after him. And he seems to be determined to lead them to the crevice. If he's making a last stand, no one should be in Isenglaid. And the elfin man kind of puts his food down and looks up. Jarvan, I appreciate your concern, but you have bigger fish to fry than me. And look, you found your power, and I found mine. And all I'm going to say is that me staying in Isenglaid is going to change the future. And you see Jarvan kind of raises his eyebrow. There are beings out there we should not engage with. Yelkin, do not make me come back here and deal with you after this matter.
Oh, Yokin.
And there's a sly smile. I'm not just doing this for me, Jarvan. You know the girl. If I don't do this, she will not find proper protection. I must uphold my pacts. All of them. And when we walk out of this, her and I will both be far more powerful than anyone else you know. Even if it costs me a lifetime of servitude, I will take it. And you may think you can stop me, but you won't be able to. So I raise you, Jarvan. Either pick up your blade and kill me now, and miss your chance to fix all the wrongs you have down in Sozan, or leave me be, and let me protect that little girl. And you see out from behind him this smaller girl with small black curling horns, and pale skin kind of peeks out. And Jarvan goes, "Good to see you, little Solomon. Yelkin, for your own good, I warn you. You're marching upon a man who is more than just a man. And whatever you're going to do to him will not be worth what you get in the long term. You will regret this." How many people do you think you will need to kill to do this? And you watch as Yelkin kind of thinks. Well, they'll simply kill each other, and in the meantime, I'll keep aggravating them. And when it's all said and done, he will not be walking out of this. And from then on, I will be able to do her bidding. Properly. Now, if you don't mind, the tribesmen are making their way through the city as we speak. You should leave before someone sees you and thinks you're a threat to them. Your magic council needs you elsewhere, not here. And you watch as Jarvan kind of stands up and gives out a deep sigh. You were a good man. I don't know what happened to you, but I pray you end up differently than the others I've dealt with in the past. If not, one day I will have your head. And you watch as the large mage kind of walks out of the tavern. And you see Yelkin looks down at his hand and pulls off a glove, and you see etched into his hand are three almost like a claw mark of 3 lines straight down that makes it look like his hand is actively bleeding, but none of the blood came off on the glove. he just kind of folds his hand and stands up. It's time. And the vision pulls back.
Huh.
All of you, feel free to make me a history check.
Oh boy. Oh, history check.
Oh,
Oh, I have high history. Oh,
where's it? Oh.
I didn't roll very well.
Oh, I got a 7.
I got a 9.
Anybody else?
Oh, sure.
History? You all saw it, so.
Tanner roll
Dylan?
20.
Oh, sorry. Sean asked you something. What did you say?
History,
History
check?
check.
Yep, I got you.
My
Oh, I have
history is
+4 to that.
18.
I was plus 5
Well-
and I rolled a 9.
Mine's plus 10.
Oh my god, Tanner.
So 18, what was Tanner's?
Tanner.
What was yours?
Did Tanner roll?
Tanner.
I think you got an unnatural 20.
Did Mike's break?
You got 12 plus 10, you said, right?
Yeah, it looks like he did get a 20. You got a 12, Dylan? And yours was an 18, Vinny?
Yes.
Okay. Jules. And
He just texted me.
Titus.
I
We'll
gotta
start
restart my internet, bro.
rough. We'll start with Titus. You don't have any idea who this guy is. But when they're talking about the girl, and you hear the name Solomon, it sounds familiar. And Elwin and Jules, at the same time, you guys remember. She, Solomon, is the fiend who was in the basement that you guys went to of the city destroyed back on the island of Thar. When you first saw the symbol of the Red Queen, it was her and that shadow warlock-like being. And they, you have reason to believe, took one of the Ruby Conductor activator orbs from that ruins, which would connect them to the modern day cult the Trapped Goddess. At least Solomon.
In the ruins where we found them?
If you guys remember, you guys went through those ruins and you stopped just short of turning the corner and you saw the two of them pick something up.
Oh, that's right.
But you all kind of felt they were way above your strength at the time. This was right when you guys started your journey.
Yeah.
Sure,
Um,
man.
Here, I can, I'll put this in the Silver Sailor chat.
Silver.
I will put their images in.
Oh, there goes Tanner.
This was Solomon. And this was the figure with her.
So that's the chick who sealed Frisliv?
So Solomon is the little girl who's with the elven man in this vision.
Oh. So now, oh, right, that was Volkram or whatever. Who's that? Do you have a picture of her, them? The dude? The mage?
I don't have a pic. He seems a fairly old elven man. His armor is predominantly green with gold trimming, but the cloak itself is black and red, and on the back of it, when he gets up, he puts the cloak on as he's heading out, and you can see the back has the 3 claw marks, the symbol of Ezendel on it.
Right. Okay. Just gonna kill that guy then, surely?
You would be willing to decipher that the elven man is absolutely your target.
Yeah.
And seemingly an old acquaintance of Jarvan Wargon.
Seemingly, he lied to me.
get shit on her.
Right? I'm 100% positive he lied, because I'm pretty sure we asked him if he remembered that. Didn't we?
That's you, man. That's all you.
Did you?
Bro,
I mean, so I will raise this to you. Do you have any other times you want to punch in to see if you can get information about, or do you just want to go?
I don't want to mess with it. Like I'm not looking to tempt the stopwatch or anything. The stopwatch knows where I want to go, and I would not like to upset the stopwatch.
Okay.
So I will choose to go here.
Okay. You choose this time period. And you find you guys feel this odd sense of being pulled elsewhere. And suddenly you feel this harsh cold wind barrel down on you. And you can feel yourself land and settle on a familiar terrain. Centuries have passed in terms of where you are now to where you once were. But you still can tell this is the crevice you trekked down to get to Frisliv. And not only that, but you are at the bottom. As your vision kind of comes to, you see in front of you, you hear first just loud cries and just anger, sounds of rocks bouncing off. You start to hear the sounds of weapons being drawn, arrows hitting ice. And as you kind of fight off the cold, your vision comes and you see just a horde of individuals, adventurers, travelers, warriors, Tritons, orcs, Goliaths, a couple of Sabadian warriors, seemingly pirates, some, less than, some tieflings, some less than, stellar-looking guys, probably some rogues or thieves or assassins, just the whole collective. And what stands out to you is there are numerous darker-skinned warriors in gold-plated armor with the symbol of soul, with the lion and the sun etched on their armor, all standing between you and a humanoid figure at the very back. A younger man wielding a long sword in one hand and a dagger in his other, and his frost blue hair kind of flowing back.
Bro is dual wielding?
And
kind of crazy.
There is such a large gap between you all and him, but most importantly is between you and the mob. There is a figure in the back, an elven man, cloaked, his cloak over his head now, and he raises this book, and you hear him utter a phrase, not loud enough for the people in front of him to hear, but loud enough for you to hear. You hear him go, "Let the sealing begin." And then he stops as the book flies up, and he turns to you all. "Where did you come from?"
Hello.
No.
And you watch as he pulls from his side a mace, and his form shifts, and he almost becomes fully armored. And you see he takes this now more shadowy, wispier appearance of that hooded warlock-like figure you saw with Solomon in the basement.
Trip.
And with that, let's roll initiative.
Oh, we actually have...
I recommend you center your map towards the southern part of it, as it is a very large map.
There's so much shit.
Oh, there's Frisliv.
What's the name of the map, Sean?
You want to go to Crevice End. It'll be at the very top.
Crevice.
I'm trying to crevice on you. I'm a sucker for you. Yeah.
That's a lot of entities.
Finger you.
But the one you need to worry about is right down here.
Who's that?
That is
Just the shadow guy. What's he doing here?
it's
You
him.
know
You
this guy?
watched Yelkin, the elven man, take basically call upon this armor over him.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is him.
that's Yelkin.
Yep.
He's yoking his yone.
So let me. Where is my initiative tracker?
Oh, Dylan just went right up to him.
Okay,
put
buddy.
on-
Dylan just went up to give him a kiss.
Comment didn't start yet.
Yeah, okay, let's just beat him up. Yeah, we just start beating him up, Sean. We just start beating
Oh.
him up.
Yeah, I start fucking going crazy.
Oh, I start having sex with them.
Okay, so what are our initiatives? What do I got?
Oh, we didn't even
I'll
roll.
take mine.
You got 8.
Oh, Sean!
Uh-huh.
So I have advantage on
Natural
initiative?
1 for 2.
I've never seen anybody more of a cleric than you, Matt.
Oh.
You're the greatest cleric known to man.
Yippee! Well, I'll be waiting in the back here, guys. I'll be sitting here for a little bit.
Do you think you cast like a crazy spell while we're all grouped up?
All right, honestly, Tanner, since I was looking at a spell beforehand that I have when we were long resting. I have, what is it? Divine Word. 30 feet and any number of creatures within it. If they have 50 hit points or fewer, they're deafened for a minute. 40 or less, they're deafened and blinded for 10 minutes. 30 and under, they're stunned
Okay.
with all the above. And with 20, they instantly die.
So what do
So imagine if all these guys are just fucking like solo.
what do I have
So
for...
where? Oh my God,
That
we
would
have
be
to
crazy.
cut through all these people.
if you want to get
No.
the Frisliv?
Oh yeah.
Holy shit! Well, we only gotta worry about this guy. We gotta talk to him, man. That's important.
Yeah, you can get there. What did you get
We
on your
gotta
initiative?
cult this crowd. Yeah, I got 9.
Okay, and what did Tanner get?
15.
15. Okay. You'll figure out where he is in the order when we get there. Before your turn, Elwin, you watch as you see the spell book kind of raise up into the air, and it disappears. As it does, this energy kind of releases across everybody. I'm going to need all of you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
What the fuck?
Cold, bro.
What saving throw?
Constitution.
Oh, fuck.
It's a 13 make it, Sean.
8.
Bro, this die
I
is
have an
never
18.
good for me.
8's probably good.
Well,
13 probably good.
What was yours, Vinny?
Oh, brace yourself. 5.
And what was
We all
Titus's?
failed.
Dylan, what's Titus's?
12.
12. The only person who succeeds is Boris. As for the rest of you,
What did Matt get?
18. 16
you
plus
all
2.
you all take 7 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
Magical.
Oh, what's
Um,
the gimmick?
You
How
watch
much? How much?
7. You watch as almost like the entire area, like this, you feel like this kind of sickening feeling kind of wash over you, and you notice that the warriors who are approaching Frisliv, some of them, it almost looks like feel it too, and you start to see on some of their shoulders and across their necks just 3 slash marks start to appear. But you guys all take 7 points of magical slashing damage, except
is
for
mine
Boris.
half
Nope, you don't
or
take it at
0?
all. You don't take it at
Okay.
all.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, who's
And then
who? There's
that,
no way we're up.
And then that is going to be now it's Elwin's turn. That is seemingly
my
not
God.
his turn. That is just
Whenever-
something that
when he
happens.
did that, was it like a spell that he cast or something?
It seems like
What did it look like?
he began the sealing ritual as you approached, and this is part of the sealing ritual. Is this effect?
Takes
Okay.
like blood from. It's like a It's a trapped woman thing. Or this one's
So-
the red woman or the trap woman?
This is
I forgot.
Ezendel. This is the trap
Right.
goddess, Ezendel. Also known as the Bleeding Mother. Elwin, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna. How far can I move?
70 feet, Jesus.
So fucking slow, bro. What? I'm gonna cast haste on Captain.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna give him a penis inspiration die.
Dylan, you better not fucking
Okay.
run up there before I give you holy.
So Titus is hasted, and he
How do
is,
I-
and
how
he
do I
has inspiration.
What?
So that's your turn, Elwin.
Yeah.
Okay, Jules, you're up.
I'm going to bonus action aimed shot, something shot, steady aim.
Yep.
So I won't move and can't move, but I get advantage on my attack roll.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. All right. First one. All right, that's much better. 24 sound good to you?
24 does hit.
All right, very good. Now to roll my 9d6, 10d6 damage.
Make sure you give me damage types.
All right, I'll just give you the poison right now. 1 poison damage.
Nice.
He will take that 1 poison damage.
All
Let's
right,
go.
the rest is piercing.
Okay.
Oh god. Okay. 7, 13, 18, 20, 23, 25, 27, 28, 34 points of damage.
One more time, sorry. 24?
34.
34. Okay.
And that's my turn.
Okay. At the end of your turn, he is going to use a legendary action.
No, he's not.
Okay, I've got an idea.
Sean, you goofball. He can't do that.
What's your idea, Mike?
He is going to.
I'm gonna do this thing. Sean knows. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Give me 1 second, cause he is.
No, I know.
He gets to do some things first.
Spirit and body.
I have to check something.
How
Grant's
resist?
gonna reactivate the stopwatch and abandon us.
Yeah, I see ya.
Mike's
bye.
Mike is like Ben 10 with the Omnitrix.
Oh, I hope he turns into a fuckable alien.
Hope you like feudalism.
Oh, I've been watching Shogun, so yeah.
Okay.
He's not able to use that.
Shogun.
Dude, it's so good.
So instead,
What kind of
he
gun are
has
they showing?
to
All of it.
Sorry, the thing I wanted to do, he can't do.
I should destroy this like purple die. It's like it has never rolled good for me.
He also can't do that. Actually, he's not.
Let me
He's,
eat it.
he is not going to take a legendary
No.
action yet. He cannot
Yummy,
do anything
die.
quite yet.
And what's funny is it's the one that Jordan gave me.
But I did indeed roll his initiative, and it is his turn because he got a 12. So upon seeing you all, he is going to.
Is he making an attack roll against us?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
He has to figure out what he wants to do. Yeah, so he's gonna move. He's gonna move his 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 up towards you all. And since you just hit him,
No.
he is. Are you within? Ooh, you're not. Just quite not enough. He is going to cast Blight
I'm counterspelling that shit.
You're gonna counterspell it?
Yeah, fuck that.
What level are you doing the counterspell at?
Fourth.
It is a 4th level spell.
Oh, big. I didn't know that.
I know you didn't.
You did go, ah!
So you are casting. If it is casting spell 4th level or higher, make an ability check using your spell casting ability. So the DC is 10 plus the spell's level. So you have to roll me. So you have to roll me a D20 plus your spell casting ability. You have to beat a 14.
You got that, Tanner. Come on, freak.
My modifier or spell attack? Add.
Spell casting ability.
So your
To spell
modifier.
attack?
Modifier? Okay.
Oh.
It's probably your spell attack.
Probably your
Because
attack.
it's your modifier plus your proficiency, most likely.
7.
Okay,
Plus
because
10,
it matters.
So it makes it. Yep, it makes it. So you are good. You counterspell the effect. You counterspell the spell away. You watch as he kind of moves forward his hand, and you take it, and you just hear him go, "Oh, you're much stronger than I first believed."
Ooh, I start nay-naying.
Yeah, dance on him. Dance on him.
And then
Fortnite victory, I'm gonna kill you.
Right.
We don't know what he's talking about.
and then it'll be Grant's turn.
I'm so horny. Alright. I am going to. If I spirit project Sean,
Mm-hmm.
can I just, like, hypothetically speaking, just walk past all these guys? Like, what's up? You know what I mean? They don't need to know about me, right?
Yeah.
Like, they won't attack me, right? They won't be aggro to me initially.
They don't seem to be aggro to any of you anyway, right now.
Oh, they're just here vibing at a meeting.
I mean, they are all focused on Frisliv.
Right, okay.
Another out of meeting.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I'm going to run as far as possible up,
Okay.
which is
30 feet unless you're taking your action to dash. But
yeah. Well, I think it's my action to use this, right?
do
yeah,
think so
yeah,
as
it is
well.
this. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Good work. And then I'm gonna use my astral protection. Now this does some things. So let me. Do you know how this works, Sean?
Yes.
Okay, good. Do I get my movement? Yeah, okay, so it says you have a flying speed equal to your walking speed and can hover. You can also go through obstacles and creatures. So I don't have any more movement then, correct? So it doesn't reset my movement?
Yes.
Okay. And then that would be my turn other than... while I'm here, I guess I can... No, I use my action.
If you're going to spirit project, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, no, that's it.
Okay. I will get a little thing.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna need a thing too for my actual, like, spot.
Well, what I'll do is I'll let you keep moving your actual token, and we're just gonna put that little guy where you were. End of your turn. Legendary action.
Where?
Titus, he's going to cast Blight on you. Actually, no, he has no reason to do it on you. He counterspelled the one on Jules, so he's actually gonna cast the Blight on you, Elwin.
What the fuck?
So he gets. Let me just make sure.
I'm gonna put a lasagna in.
Oh, someone
I need you
counterspell
to
it.
make me a
But
Constitution
lasagna-
saving throw, Elwin.
Now one.
Okay.
Oh.
So you'll be taking damage.
Counterspell.
Already used your reaction.
The counterspell.
7. Where's my other? There it is.
Stop that.
Ooh. You take 37 points of necrotic damage.
Oh, yippee!
As you watch, as he kind of throws out the first blight towards you, Jules, and Elwin just kind of snatches the arcane energy away, and then as he sees Grant move and project himself off, he's not sure what's going on there, so he just turns his attention to the person who ruined his last spell, and just another blight, the necrotic energy just kind of sweeps through and kind of juts out at Elwin, almost in like this slashing shadow-like strike.
And then I gotta haste. Oh, Dylan's good. Haste is up still.
Okay. And with that, it is Titus's turn.
Make it
He's dead.
He's dead. Fred, I'm here.
I'm here. Sorry. I'm here.
Fred.
Fred.
Did Tanner's haste go away?
Nope, still up.
Oh, alright, so am I able to move? Are this ground icy?
Yeah, you're good to move.
I'm gonna go right there. And I'm gonna fucking steal my Washinderu. And as I do that, I'm gonna attack him with my Eternal Flame Piercer.
Mm-hmm.
As a bonus action, I'm gonna speak my command word and operate my animated shield.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use the Eternal Flame Piercer. I have a plus 12 to hit. Seems great. I'm a great weapon master in the first attack.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 15 to hit.
Oof.
But I do have inspiration.
Yep, you do.
Do we think a 15 is gonna hit, guys?
No.
What's your inspiration, Tanner? D10? D12?
Yeah, 10.
I'm gonna add 10 to that roll, make it 25.
That does hit.
So the first attack does 23 slashing.
Work.
And 2 fire damage.
Titus,
No.
your blade connects, and as it does, the slash marks strike true, and then almost like there is some other force pushing his skin back. The slashing seems to, like, the effect of the slashing seems to lessen.
Oh, but the fire's
The
Gucci.
fire's fine. Yep. The
Alright, we're gonna
slashing
make
did not
another.
seem to have its full effect, though.
We're gonna make another attack then.
We'll make it through.
Great weapon master. Oh, again. That is a 17 to hit.
Misses.
Alright, so how many attacks do I have? I have 3 attacks. So I'm just gonna make a normal attack here. Should I get 25? That for sure hits.
Yep.
It's gonna be 16 slashing damage
Okay, halved.
and 10 fire damage.
Okay.
That was my third attack. I'm gonna make my hasted attack, and
Yep.
I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a trip attack.
Ooh.
Okay.
So that means he has to make
We got hit.
a true. Ah shit. 15 doesn't hit.
Nope.
So I will use my action search.
Yep.
And I'll make 3 extra attacks.
Mm-hmm.
This one, we're gonna do trip attack again. 22 to hit.
22 does hit.
Alright, he has to make me a strength save. And he's gonna take your extra.
23 on the strength save.
He makes it, but he takes 17 slashing.
Okay, halved.
And 6 fire. We're gonna do another. Damn. Damn. Does he look strong? Damn.
As you get a good, you're up in his face, Titus, and as you start going, the robe is almost misleading. Because as you go to strike, you see he has this plate mail. And it's not just regular plate mail. It's clearly magical. So like, what's really happening is you're struggling to even get through the plate mail on the strikes you do.
Gotcha. All right, another trip attack here. Let's see what I get. 27 to hit.
That hits.
So, 22 slashing and 10 fire.
21.
And then a strength check.
25 on the strength save.
That makes it. Alright, that's fine. I'm just getting extra damage in. I'm gonna do.
Ooh.
Who's near me? Who's else is melee here? Everyone else is ranged. Oh, Boris melee? Can you reach him, Matt? Can you reach me?
Let's see.
Trying to get
I
shit
mean,
where it doesn't.
sorry, where is it?
Nope, he's just. What's your movement? Is your movement 35 or is it 40?
No,
or is it
it's
30?
30.
Just 30?
It's 30.
Yeah. I mean, not to tell you what to do, but you have a way to get yourself the movement to get to Yelkin. But
Well, so I'm gonna use this last attack. I'm gonna make it a maneuvering attack if it hits.
Okay.
It doesn't hit. 14.
that does miss.
So when I can do that, but that is my turn.
Okay, Boris, you are up.
Alrighty.
Boris
And
time.
I can only get to there with my movement. I am gonna move. Let's see, hold on, just make sure I go up. I'm gonna at least try to move closer to Cap, but not directly onto this guy. Can't get up close just yet, but we are going to. What should we try doing to this guy?
Ooh, what should we try doing?
Who got hit by the blight? Was it you, Tanner?
Yep.
Yeah,
How you looking?
mid.
Mid.
Bro, you're just a retard. Sorry.
Huh?
Fight Clash.
Oh. You know what? Let's do this. Do you guys think you're gonna have a tough time hitting him? I was thinking about blessing everybody quick.
AC does seem high. I think Titus is missed with a 17.
Bless could help.
Could help. Could be.
Is it every when you upcast bless? Is it additional person?
Alright.
Because spell using is one additional. Okay, yes. Okay, so the base is what? 3. So
I don't know if you're gonna be able to target Grant technically. For what it's worth.
That's fine.
Because of what, he's too far?
He's
No,
incorporeal
sure.
right now.
Oh, he's incorporeal. Ooh. Well, I wouldn't even notice. I'll be like, oh, Grant just ran away, of course. So we'll just do it. We'll do it at a second level. We'll bless a second level. Do it on us 4.
Okay. So you'll get a D4.
It's all good, feller. Thanks for the scabies.
All right, I'm just gonna try to block Elwin from the guy. Then try to get to Titus on my next movement.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing else I can do.
At the end of your turn,
I'll try to tell Titus to stay close.
and really what I mean by the end of your turn, at the top of the round, I will need everybody to make me, I have to check on something for Grant, because I'm not sure if he's included in this.
Be a spirit, ethereal and shit.
Yeah, I have to
Oh, get in my balls.
read
Oh,
the wording on this.
see what I sent you, Tanner?
Bro's yapping.
Youch!
What did you write on
You don't know, just kept typing.
What am I-
to see if
what
you're
state am I
gonna
rolling?
respond.
I do need
chat
everybody
closed.
again to roll me
Figured.
that Constitution saving throw.
Including
Yep,
Grant?
including you, because your body's still there.
Oh,
26.
not good. Not good. 5.
Okay.
Oh, 18.
Oh, natural 20, Sean.
Okay, what about
Wow, this is-
Because I'm ethereal.
what if-
Complete opposite for this
What-
one, guy.
what about Jules?
19.
19. Only,
Wow,
only
complete
Boris fails.
opposite. Jesus.
So, thing is though, Boris, you are now added to the pool. Everybody still takes 6 points of slashing damage. Grant, yours is halved
I was gonna say. hold
because of
on.
your ability.
Large.
Titus, yours isn't because it's magical.
How much damage?
6
6
points.
more.
I'll be flying too.
Jules,
Uh-oh.
make me an insight check.
Oh, he's insightful.
Let me check something. 5 charges. Perception. Nope. Okay.
Oh, Sean, do I need a roll for concentration on that bless?
Technically yes, you just gotta beat a 10.
I got an 18.
Sean, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
What am I inciting?
You're inciting this effect.
Okay. Okay, I don't have anything. 19.
19. While you all seem to have managed okay, you've staved off whatever this overall energy is. You notice that the warrior, the tribesmen who are fighting Frisliv, they have not staved off the second effect, and you notice their slashes double. Like, you guys are receiving the same amount of slashes. Boris is now receiving the slashes. Seemingly, the warriors who are still under this effect and not staved it off this time are taking twice as many slashes.
Right.
And you can see that as this happens, kind of this reddish energy is almost starting to leak out onto the battlefield, and it's kind of working its way up towards Frisliv.
Is the book still floating in the air?
No, it's gone. The
okay.
summoning, the ceiling has started. Elwin, it is your turn.
Oh, fire.
Also, sorry, last thing of note, you watch as like one of the warriors nearby kind of takes that additional slashing. You kind of watch as Yelkin has the smile across his face that you can just see underneath the mask, and some of that red energy actually pulls back into him, almost revitalizing him a little bit.
What a freak.
Well, surely it's like it's just like they're sacrificing like blood or some shit, bro. If we get but I'm a
So
spirit.
smart.
Say if we just kill everyone in the room.
Oh, Mike, you're so smart.
Elwin, it is
So
your turn.
quiet. Bro, I'm about to vicious mockery his ass, bro.
Fuck.
Jules, I would say you would also know that this effect has not happened. Like, the damage he dealt with the Blight to Titus did not seem to influence what's going on overall. It is
Okay.
specifically the damage from this start of the round effect. So you're gonna vicious mockery him?
Yeah.
What does he gotta do?
Wisdom.
21.
5 spring traps.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good. I'm gonna give Captain another bard.
Okay. You hurl an insult at Yelkin, and there's kind of this like if it was a physical attack, he quite literally would have brushed it off his shoulder. It's just completely unfazed, focused on the task at hand, which right now his attention seems to be on Titus. So Titus gets the bardic. It goes to Jules.
Okay. I'm going to. Oh God. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna move. And hang on, let me check the angle. Yeah, no. Okay. So.
Oh, my mic was on. Sorry. I don't know why my fire alarm went off.
Oh.
Ooh. Probably from all the head you've been giving me.
What
Firehead.
To be fire.
I took 6 damage from that guy though, so I gotta make sure I do good.
There's no good angle.
I shot my load on you that round.
What'd you do to me?
I shot my load.
No, you might be suffering the after effects of a lightning arrow. Yeah, because I don't want to get their attention. So I guess I'm gonna
Let's
move.
get their attention. Do it, pussy.
I'm gonna here. The bonus action cast lightning arrow, and I'm gonna shoot at him.
Okay. You have bless.
I am blessed.
Ooh, I was scratching my backus.
Oh, thank God, it's
Rockus.
a high number.
Ooh.
34 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Nice,
Right,
Vinny. Go work,
Oh,
Jules.
shit, I need my
Noir.
extra D8s. Need 4 more D8s.
I hope you guys are enjoying combat. I'm gonna enjoy running and dashing every turn.
Exciting.
How long does this shit last
3,
for?
4, right, it's 4 D8s. Yeah, 4 D8s. Alright. Ugh, drop the rest of those. Alright. This.
I'm pretty sure it's whatever I want.
Okay. 1, 9, 12, 15,
I'm nuts right now, bro.
18, 21, 24, 34, 37, 41, 47 points of lightning damage.
Okay.
And make me a dex save, Titus, and Shadow Man.
Doesn't he get
18?
Yeah, that saves.
It's a saving throw Dylan has to do, right?
Yeah.
You can use your bless on it also, Dylan.
Take half of 11 lightning.
Okay. For what it is worth, having been pelted by Titus's strikes and your lightning bolt, at this point, and your first shot even on top of that, he definitely seems to be breathing heavy.
How much damage was the lightning arrow?
It was 11 on that dex save.
Yeah.
So
11 if you failed, half if you succeed.
I took 11.
Oh, okay.
What'd you roll?
With the bless?
Mine's low. My save is low.
2.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
What is this? What?
Is that your turn?
Yep, that's my turn.
Okay. It is Yelkin's turn. So, to start, he is... Titus, you watch as kind of the lightning arrow hits him, but he just turns his head to you, and you see his eyes kind of glow this reddish,
What the fuck are you doing?
this reddish anger at you, and you feel his intent to strike you, bear down on you. You are now the target of his vow of enmity.
Oh, okay.
And he is going to make 2 strikes at you with his mace, which is the first time you see him bring it up. You see the mace, instead of being it's more blunt, a more blunt instrument. It's almost like parts of the mace have been torn apart, and you could tell just by looking at it, this is going to slash apart you if it hits you.
Okay, alright.
So, first attack to hit is a 30.
Oh! Yes, Sean.
Okay, so you tank.
Oh, great heavens.
Okay, so you're gonna take...
Alright, goodbye, Titus.
You're gonna take 25 points of slashing damage.
Is it magical?
It is.
Ooh.
I don't like that. Alright.
And you can already tell as he strikes you with this, it is magical because this mace is immensely magical.
Okay.
Even just from your brief encounters with magical objects, you have so rarely seen a magical object that strikes you as evil by nature than this mace. I'm going to need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Alright. 23.
You succeed. You watch as the mace as it hits you, it almost tries, and like it slashes against you through your armor, it almost tries to like dig deeper, but you manage to stave off the effect. He's going to make his second attack against you. Still with advantage. Because of his vow of enmity on you. That's 2 natural 20s. He really wanted this.
You want me to make him a con save?
We'll get to that in a second. Let me get you the damage. You're gonna have to...
Quick, Boris, cancel it.
Oh no, that's Sean's job.
And I'm sure as hell not
cancel
gonna
it.
do that right now. Ooh, not as good. I did not roll as well, so you only take 34 points of slashing damage.
Alright.
And now I'll need you to make the con save again.
Oh, does a 12 fail?
It does fail.
I'm gonna use my indomitable trait.
Okay. You're using the bless too, right?
No, I forgot that, but hold on. I will do it.
It does
this
not matter
time.
for the first roll. I'll tell you that.
I only rolled a 13, so hold on. I'm looking for a 4 here then, gentlemen. I got a 3, so 16.
16 fails. You feel the mace kind of dig in, and it doesn't do anything right now, but you can see in the area where he struck you, your wounds are now more open. Almost as if this mace is preparing you to take more the next time something slashes against you.
Oh,
That was 36, right?
34.
34. Perfect. I need to know because you watch as he strikes you with that one. You watch as he pulls in this reddish mist from you, and almost reinvigorates himself again.
Oh,
Huh.
all my hard work.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, though.
And that is going to be his turn.
Alright. Well, you know they say the comeback is what's really cool here. I'm gonna make my attacks. Make my first one.
Well, Grant first.
It's me, fucker.
I think he's just moving though, unless he's gonna.
Run it! Oh wait, can I control the blue thing?
I mean, do you want to move the blue thing or just you?
I don't care.
Here, I will give you. So I forgot I have to give it to Martha Stewart. Okay, you can move it now. So 5.
Fine. I'm gonna move me here, Sean.
You gotta shut the door. I'll use it.
Thank you.
For what it's worth, in the meantime, 5, 10, 15,
That's
20, 25.
my turn.
He would Frisliv would have moved 30 feet further in. Because right now he is fighting. He is not trying to. He's not really on. As much as he is being attacked by a horde, he is not necessarily on the defensive yet. So he's actually kind of moved in. And Grant, go ahead, since you are focused on getting to him. Go ahead, make me a perception check with advantage.
Okay. Ooh, not bad. Ooh, much worse. Okay. It was almost a 19 on the next one, but it was a 1. But I got a 15 on the first one.
You can tell that he is more so parrying strikes and using the blunt edge and the flat end of the hilt of the sword to kind of knock and try to take down opponents. He's not aiming to kill these people.
Smoking a blunt?
And that is your turn. Titus, you are up.
Alright. Let me do some attacking here. Oh, great weapon masters first strike. So I'm gonna fuck. Wow, it's a natural 1.
Right.
We're gonna great weapon master the second strike though. Does an 18 hit or should my bard die?
18 misses.
Oh, well, Sean, you're not supposed to tell me that. I'll use my bard die.
Well, you knew 17 miss, so you had a chance of using it anyway.
26 to
That
hit.
does hit.
Alright. We're gonna do, and I'll make it a trip attack.
Okay.
So that's 11, 21. All this one.
27
24
on his save.
slashing. And 8 fire. I'll make my third attack. This one's normal.
Okay.
26.
Hits.
5. 2 of these. 16 slashing, 6 fire. How's it looking? Can I hit again?
Yeah, he's still. You have essentially worked him back down to where he was before he struck you and took some of that vitality from you.
That's fucked up. He's taking another 16 points of slashing.
You hit?
Yeah, I hit at 23 to hit.
Okay.
So 16 slashing and 10 fire.
Fire's doing damage.
Yeah, I think that's all I can do right now.
So you have 3 attacks and the haste?
That was, yeah, I missed one attack.
Okay,
I hit 3.
Okay. End of your turn, Titus.
Bonus action, second win. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. End of your turn. He's gonna take a legendary action, and he's going to make a swing at you. Still with advantage, because the vow is on you. Oh wow! That is only an 18 to hit you.
That misses.
Yep. I rolled really bad. One of those rolls was a 1, is all I will say.
Take it.
So he goes to swing, and it just kind of your animated shield just kind of comes down and actually blocks the mace from hitting.
Good work, Dolan.
Okay, Boris.
Alrighty.
Can't hear you.
We are going to... I should use scrying right now. It's such a perfect time to scry.
Oh, mustard on my...
Where is it?
Doth thou wish to scry?
I think I got it.
What level? We're gonna do a 4th level guiding bolt right into this bitch ass.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm rolling for attack here. Does a 21 hit?
It does.
Alrighty. So we are doing that. Let me just use the spell. So we got what? 76 radiant coming out here. Not good on that. 4, 9. 15, 19. Let me just make sure there's no adage. Not a great roll. Oh, come my god, I went back. So the initial was 19 points of radiant damage. I'm just seeing if I add anything onto it. It wasn't lightning or thunder, so that won't do anything to it.
So sorry.
No.
You said 19.
Mm-hmm.
As you hit with this guiding bolt, you watch as the impact, you strike him in the back with this radiant damage, and you almost watch as it's almost like there's more pain than you expect to come through.
Okay, good to know.
And his eyes kind of turn towards you, and he's like torn between thinking about walking away from Titus to come over to knock you down.
I'm gonna move my movement and, like, while he's
Yep.
looking at me to just like get him turned back, his back turned to Titus.
Mhm.
I'll try to egg him on.
Okay, that's your turn.
Yeah, I can't do anything else.
End of everybody's turn. Well, start of the new round. I need Constitution saving throws.
Con save.
Oh, con.
Sean, question.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean when it says any damage or other effects that apply to your spirit or physical body affects the other?
So if something
So that
targets
means-
your physical,
So then,
your
would I
your
be
spirit.
technically taking this damage twice?
No, I'm only counting it
Okay.
once.
Sick.
I'm only saying that it
wait.
targets your physical body. What are the saving throws?
10. Would
Oh.
these slashes be proccing my
11.
workcaster and like concentration?
Yes.
Yes, they
I
should.
rolled for my
Forgot about
bless.
that. Alright.
It was so low the last time I didn't worry about
Oh,
it.
that was good.
So Elwin, well hold on, you don't know the damage yet. Elwin,
No, I didn't do
Failed.
it before.
Okay.
We're good.
what are the other results?
I failed.
I got 11.
Okay, Jules,
19.
19 succeeds. Don't know if Dylan is still on or not. We'll worry about that in a second. So Jules, you only take 7 points of slashing.
Okay.
Everybody else takes 17 points.
Manfred.
Here. This is just gradually getting worse. And this fucking guy is gonna keep getting stronger off of it.
So, good news is that the rest of the group makes the save this time. But Jules, you notice as kind of this, as this effect kind of takes down again, you watch as the cloud of red almost thickens more. And Grant, since you're watching him, the strikes themselves, like slashes that are affecting everybody, are not actually coming at Frisliv, but this reddish energy that's kind of coming towards him is starting to slow down his movements. Elwin, you are up.
Oh, I'm so vicious,
Oh, wait,
Sean.
Did we take damage or no? Sorry.
Yes, 17.
17. All right, and so I had to roll for a con
bless.
save for my bless.
Yep.
I have a natural 18, so
Okay, you're good.
do it. 17 points of damage.
Jules only,
Sean, I'm
only
gonna,
took 7.
And that hero's feast we can get back, right? That health.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm at 19 max. Right?
Sean, I'm
19.
gonna mock him, bro.
Okay.
Such a vicious cock.
So wisdom save.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I know what. I'm pretty sure from the die roll he makes it. 30.
What the fuck?
Think he
Yeah,
made
he
it.
makes it.
I don't even think Sean needs to roll.
Yeah,
I
I'm,
do.
That's it. That's my turn.
Nice.
Yeah, Jules, you're up.
Alright, I'm gonna move down here,
Mm-hmm.
and then because he still has advantage on him from Guiding Bolt, I shoot.
Also gonna say a couple of these folks are gonna be going down.
I think it's still good.
What you get?
Tell me my number. 21.
21 hits. Oh, you have
Alright.
advantage. Because the
Yeah,
guiding
I
bolt.
rolled it.
Okay.
And bless.
I rolled that too.
Oh, wow.
Okay. 10, 16, 19, 21, 22, 27, 33, 39, 46 points of damage.
Jules, you see that red mist start. You see the red mist start to head towards Frisliv. Grant, you are watching as it is starting to slow his movements, and you almost feel like you see kind of from his neck, kind of like something almost like is like it's trying to jut out of it, and it kind of like almost knocks Frisliv down, but he holds up and he's able to block. You're starting to understand what happened previously, the last time. As the battle war, these soldiers are fighting Frisliv, for revenge for the gods they worship that he slayed, while Yalkin stood in the back and ripped away vitality, and blood from the warriors he rallied to fight against Frisliv, and then channeled that energy into both a sealing and a mutative spell. Jules, you can tell. You probably had another set of these slashes before the sealing would be complete, and if you didn't kill him before that, it would have finished. You basically had 2 more turn cycles, probably would be your guess from how you're judging it on your investigation about the scenario. But you line your shot, and before he has a chance to siphon more energy from this ever-growing damage that seemingly the trapped goddess is bestowing upon these individuals, your arrow strikes true. How do you want to do this?
Yeah, Vinny.
Oh,
So I imagine I'm hitting him just like body shots with with my first shot, and this one from the back just comes straight out center chest.
Who are you people? And his eyes, the red from his vow kind of starts to flicker. And he kind of looks out, and it's finally starting to dawn on him as he sees this spiritual projection kind of jutting out towards Frisliv. For what it's worth, Grant, I will give you... you have another 60 feet of movement, and then you could definitely get to him.
Okay.
So
Where's
you're-
that?
So, I mean, you would
Right.
get to like here-ish, and then you could get to him basically the next round right away.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let you do something really cool that I normally wouldn't let you do, but we'll get there in a second.
Okay.
But his eyes are kind of set on you, and then everybody around Yelkin, you watch as
I'm
the-
sprinting.
as the life is kind of falling out of him. The mace itself kind of erupts in his hand, and just slashes start to tear apart his body as the mace falls to the ground, and he falls limp. His body is basically shredded now.
Wait, he's just getting flayed by the trapped guy. Cool. He knows, though. He knows we're from the future.
we cooked his ass.
We just fucking... Ice
So-
cream truck.
Um,
You know what I mean?
Grant, in
No.
Yep.
almost a moment of pure adrenaline to try to get to him, Frislevek has kind of taken a couple of steps back as some of the warriors are starting to feel the slashes and wounds, and they're slowing too. But this effect starts to fade, and the red starts to disperse. You feel something, in your robes, a gift from Frisliv from your time period, and your power. You don't know why you feel like it, but you feel like you can snap out of this projection, and your body will be where your projection is.
Okay, that's what we're doing. Got it.
And you all watch as this happens, as Grant's unconscious body that he jutted out of, almost like this set of ice almost juts up and surrounds it, and then breaks, and his body's gone. And you just see him jut up, further up, and the people who are around you kind of take a step back, because they didn't know you were there, they don't know who you are, but you're able to move up towards him.
Right. Interesting. Just gonna do that then.
You see, he kind of catches his breath. Who are you? And he ready. His dagger's kind of fallen out of hand. He just readies his sword.
I pull out my staff and I show him my cloak. I'm from how many years, Sean?
Thousands.
Oh, God.
I'm from thousands of years in the past.
Future.
I'm here to save your life. Future!
There have not been thousands of years in the past for you to be from.
Right. You know I meant recon that. Anyway, there's a man. He goes by Volkrum. Yolkin. He was here, trying to trap you in ice. And that's currently how you are. I'm your champion, and I've used the, what's it called? Just the stopwatch?
If you want to use this proper term, it's Orsus's stopwatch.
Orsus's.
Yep.
Why? Orsus's?
Or just Orsus stopwatch, because you don't have to add the extra.
Stopwatch?
Yeah, Orsus stopwatch.
Orsus stopwatch. Got it.
Possessive with S's are fun.
Yeah, they really are. I used Orsus stopwatch to get here and to stop him from sealing you away. We've got big things that we've got to worry about. I don't know how much longer we'll be here. So here's two things I gotta tell you now. Find me when you can, thousands of years in the future. We have things we need to take care of with the Red Queen. Is it Red Queen?
Who are you referring to? Adeline Zarth
Current.
Ezendel?
Ezendel. Yeah, she's the trap goddess.
Trapped goddess, yeah.
Okay, big. We have to worry about the trapped goddess once more. And currently, right after this, we're going to take on the Titans again. But that won't matter if you don't come find me. Did you say anything?
He kind of looks you over, and he slowly lowers his blade a bit. And everyone else, there's a couple of people in earshot who have kind of pulled the rest of the horde back as if they're listening. And you notice that the people at the forefront who are kind of doing that are the Soulites, the people who were a part of Marcus Kane's civilization before it fell to ruin. They seem to be at the forefront of you all need to stop right now for a second. And Frisliv kind of starts to lower his sword and looks at you. You are not lying to me. What's your name?
Grant McDonald.
Grant. He kind of looks over your robes and your staff again. A man of ice. And he kind of looks over his shoulder. I can see the line of thinking.
I'll tell you all about it when you come and find me.
Thousands of years, huh? I'll do my best to stay alive till then.
And also, don't forget that the fucking, what are they called? The Titans have, what are they called? Regenerative states? Sean?
Sean, line.
I'm trying to think of the term that I used, because you fucked me over by throwing 3 terms that weren't right at me. Restrictive? I might have used restrictive. You explain the process.
Yeah,
Quickly and briefly to him. Interesting. So they'll come back.
You still were the first to defeat them, kind of.
I see.
But rewrite that history.
You've done me a great favor. I could feel that magic working its way at me. This trapped goddess.
Ezendel.
You say the name Ezendel, and his eyes kind of go wide. I understand. That explains it.
Yes.
Okay then, Grant. I shall find you in my future, but your present.
Alright.
And
Well,
as you're having this conversation, you guys at the back, at this point, Yelkin's form has completely kind of dispersed to the wind. The mace is still lying there on the ground. And you guys see a younger man, dark skin, gold and white armor, large golden battle axe with dark brown dreads kind of run past you towards the horde. And you see a couple of the Soulites drop to their knees right away, and some of the other horde members kind of start to parse for him. And you hear him yell out, kind of towards Frisliv's direction, Grant. You hear him go, "Stop! Stop! I am Marcus Kane, Prince to the Soulites." And he kind of looks forward, and he sees you for a second, but his eyes are more towards Frisliv. "I want to talk. We have no reason to kill this man." And Frisliv kind of gives you an eye.
I look at him and I say, I must go now.
"I imagine so.
Good luck.
We'll meet again."
We will.
And you almost feel a tug, Grant, not as you're jutted out quite yet, but as you're pulled back to the rest of the group first. And you see a younger Marcus Kane kind of walk up to Frisliv and kind of stand his great axe kind of up next to him, but not in a battle stance. And they seem to start to talk. You can't hear them because of how far you are, but enough of the other tribesmen have kind of like backed off to give him room and are kind of looking at some of their fallen comrades. And it's seemingly now they're starting to realize this red mist that had started pulling away and the slashes on their skin. They're starting to realize something was wrong.
Right. Good. Self-aware.
You all kind of look at each other and you start to feel kind of this pulse, and you could tell that you maybe have another minute or two before you're going to get pulled back.
Do we take the mace?
I don't think that would be good.
Well, so someone else doesn't get it.
I guess.
Was there any stipulations about taking things from the past?
I don't think we should do it. Anything that can... no, we're not taking the vase. Someone else is gonna get it. Someone else...
Alright, no, Captain, do we take it?
He's not here right now.
Oh, no, he's here in spirit.
We
He
will-
would say take it.
We'll
Jules
hold-
takes the mace.
You're gonna take the mace?
I'm gonna take.
Are we gonna say
No.
you do it at Titus's orders? Probably, maybe.
I think he would
No.
say take it.
Yeah, they would take. You take that shit.
I do it irregardless of whether Titus says so.
So
or not.
we'll say Jules, kind of in a moment of like thought and hesitation about whether or not you should, you decide it's better to take it than to leave it, and so you grab it. And you could already tell just holding it, you would not be able to wield this. In fact, probably none of you would be able to wield this. It is actively preventing you from from trying to wield it and use its powers. Seemingly, it needs someone who is truly evil to wield it.
Oh, give it to me.
And you, yeah, maybe one day. And you guys watch as, almost like your vision, just this flash of white light, and it's so fast you don't even have the time to see and understand it, but a bunch of visions and events and points of history flash before you. And Grant, there is a moment as you all are seeing this where you think,
Yo,
did you do it right?
hope so.
When you get back, are the 5 of you still going to be the 5 of you?
Can Boris not have a leg whenever he comes back?
I hope I'm straight.
Oh,
And you-
won't be.
And you
Oh,
all
it's prettier
you all
in here.
find yourself
No,
kind
it's not.
of you all kind of find yourself lying, like you wake up almost as if you fell asleep on the cushions.
Wait, but Frizzler should be here.
And as soon as you get back to the present time, there are a couple of things that you can feel in your mind are trying to right themselves.
Which are?
You guys remember, give me 1 second. You guys remember at the start of your adventure heading to the city of Astal in ruins. And when you got down to that bottom level, instead of 2 figures, there was just 1. There was just the Fiend. And you guys actually thought maybe you could fight her. And you guys had an encounter with her, where you didn't feel like, you felt like you would have lost, but for some reason, she left. She did not continue the fight with you. So you now have in your memory an encounter with Selaman, this Fiend. And you know for sure now in your head, she took an activator orb for the Ruby Conductor. You know for sure she had it. You saw her have it. You know she has it now. And briefly, as you were trying to figure out what it was and why she was there and what happened to the city, you guys got a little bit of information out of her. Seemingly, she was fickle about what she wanted to share and what she felt like she needed to keep secret. Jules, she flat out told you that this city of Astal fell because of orders from House Sarth. You no longer have suspicion, you have confirmation, if you are to believe this Fiend. And she also tells you all that if you care about the island of Thar, you need to do whatever you can to warn them to keep, oh my god, I need to remember his fucking name. It's been so long. Because the Night Brother is Brutus. I have to remember the actual noble.
Commander.
Calvin. She warns you that if something is not done, Calvin Zarth is going to die. And that is where her interaction with you leaves. When you get back to the city, and you compete in the tournament, Jules, you have a moment with Sir Moss where you talk with the boss and you relay this information for him, and he, much earlier than he does normally, in fact, seemingly something that you know as you're processing the information, something that changes. You know it changes. Eventually, you will not remember that this is a change. It will just be fact for you. Instead of having to hunt down Rilhurt and try to find him, he hasn't gone missing. And Sir Moss actually just entrusts your group with him to protect him, seemingly believing that getting him out of the city's for his safety. So you guys have Rilhurt, his son, with you much longer. And Jules, you now also know that because of this, the boss does not run off on his own. He plays the investigation of the Cold the Trapped Goddess and in the House Sarth much more carefully. In fact, you know now, where you are standing right now in the room with him, you know he is actively amongst your group of allies, with Xander Wiccan and the real Gustav Rotwen. He is not missing. He's not MIA. You know exactly where he is. And the House Sarth branch, the branch by the House of Sarth for the Sir Moss Incorporated, they do not disappear. You also, collectively as a group, decide you need to keep your mouth shut about the Sabbats. having even more reason not to trust House
the frog
Sarth.
people.
You do, however, down that line of your adventure, get wind that Adeline Zarth, the Red Queen, serving as Calvin's to be betrothed, does still eventually find it on her own accord, but you know for sure from reports that more Sabads than previous get out alive. The real major casualty from her eventually finding them anyway is just the Elder. Which means that comparatively to your other timeline, Drown does not have all the blood drawn to activate it right now. It did previously, it does not now. It is still missing the blood of the Sabadian heir. Who you guys do know and have aboard your ship for safety reasons. You managed to meet with Ratal, the younger Sabad who you first met in the forest of the Moonreaver. He is now also amongst your cohorts. Safe, you have him. If you need his blood to activate Drown, it is there and usable. Grant.
Nah.
You're worried when you first get back. You're trying to remember the events of what happened with your brother.
Yo.
You come home from your shopping trip, and you can smell the blood in the air, and you rush through the door, and as you do, there's a young man with his sword at his side with white blue hair and a close to your age maiden who you know as Felicia Guile, who in the older timeline is her champion, is another one of his champions. The two of them are there and stabilizing your brother when you get back, and he sits down and he talks to you. He introduces himself not as Fristliv but just as the warrior Frist.
Mm-hmm.
And he explains that he owes you a great favor. And he thinks the best way to do this is to grant you some powers to help keep both you and your brother alive as you try to figure out who orchestrated this assassination attempt. And he makes it very clear to you that you were the target. You don't have to guess at the beginning of the journey anymore. You know you were the target and your brother fell victim. And Felicia gives you some information at the start as well that if this was the Red Mantis, your brother would be dead. This was an imposter. Someone was trying to set them up to get them on your tail even. A faulty assassination attempt might bring out a real one on your life, is her theory. They tell you that you need to keep looking into this, and your best bet is to go to Sermas Incorporated. And that when the time is right, you'll meet again.
Bro.
You'll meet again in Isenglade, the city in the north.
Me.
The city in the north. Fristliv allows you to travel with the powers he's granted you, which we will talk. We will talk about something in relation to that in a minute. But
interesting. Okay.
So
like we're not. That's all I remember though. We're like not like.
That's like the core thing that's got it that gets fixed, that gets rewritten. Is that like you're instead of praying and drawing on his power and getting it through that moment, he's already there. He's there to give you the power and to save your brother, and to put you on a path as a chosen one. And it's a little intimidating, it's a little off, but he promises you that everything's going to be okay if you carry on this journey. He also presents it as you don't really have a choice. If you choose to ignore this, you and your brother will probably die.
Right.
Which is enough to kind of urge you on.
Okay.
You have to give me 1 second as I try to think about certain other events. All of you have active knowledge of a civilization in the southeast of Ruba. During its darkest time in history, it had to seal and wall itself off. But due to additional aid it received, seemingly from a set of heroic warriors, the civilization of the Soulites was able to bring in more of its people into sealing off the keep. Aletta, Marcus, and his wife are now not the only survivors of the Soulites. There are more of them.
Oh,
Still,
good for
still
them.
not a large number, much smaller than they originally were. And when you eventually make your way down to, it's odd, Grant. Despite not ever finding it, you feel compelled to still research the Beasts of the Beginnings.
Really?
And instead of finding this stopwatch, upon your first conversation with Roval about them, he mentions that someone who partakes in a pilgrimage to learn about the rights of these 4 original beginning gods may wind up with their blessing at the end of it. So you are still compelled, along with Frisliv urging you that it might not be a bad idea to do so, to travel to these places and learn about the 4 beasts of the beginning. When you make your way down to the Soullight Kingdom and meet Marcus Kane and have your fight, the area around it is much more lifeful. The city's kind of still rebuilding, but there are less threats from the Shadowfell Plain plaguing them. Those large Night Walkers are not nearly as prevalent as when you guys went down there. There's not as many undead. But Titus still squares off with Marcus and earns his respect. He earns the orb, and you learn a little bit of the rites. When you're down there, Marcus tells you all about what happened to his civilization. When the Concord turned, and the other tribes and some of the other tribes joined them to rout out the Soulless as kind of traitors and believers of this false god of the Beast of the Beginning, who have turned away from Ajax and the other primordials, they wind up getting aid from the warrior Frist, as Marcus describes him, who he explains he met when he was younger, and had owed a favor to him, and he came to help aid his people. And he had brought with him a younger warrior, silver-haired, who, now that you see him, you know him matches that description. So him and Frisliv both made the trek down to help defend the Soullight Kingdom. I have to do a little bit more running up my brain. When you get to Isenglade the first time, you guys get there, you trek down the crevice, because that is, after doing some investigating, you're kind of informed that this light blue-haired warrior of ice typically makes pilgrimages up and down the crevice to try to clear out monsters. And when you get down there, he bestows upon you the robes. You've already gained the scepter from the dragon still from your encounter with Ramir in the cave in Isenglade. And he actually urges you all to get more information and to acquire the next orb of the conductor to head in and fight Lumulcus. Saying that if anything bad were to happen, he were to have your back. And you go into that fight a little more inspirited and confident.
Right.
So that still carries out the course the normal way. There is a slight change in your time in the city of Sylvan of the Azamars. Seemingly, because the Soullight's kingdom does not fall as hard. While Roval is still separated from Aletta, and she still winds up, being separated from her family in the kingdom, and Roval still gets imprisoned, he is treated much better. He is not in as bad of a state when you find him. And O'Male is much more open to conversation because you guys are there seeking information about Soul, and looking for these pieces of the conductor to try to stop the Titans. He seems less radicalized and suddenly have founding the faith of Soul, almost as if he's had it from when his wife was previously alive, and he's a little more grounded. So while you still rout out the dragon that is there in the city and help find Kalen, the heir, you wind up walking away from Sylvan with O'Male being more favorable with you than enemies. He is open to the idea of bridging peace with the Aarakocrans and the elves, and he is even open to the idea of providing you aid down in the future. He is not as closed off as he was on the previous timeline. The events with Wiccan and Rotwin all kind of carry forth. You guys still take the ship from Rotwin, the fake Rotwin, kind of pulling the wool more over his eyes than making a trade of information of like, look man, it'll benefit us if we get this ship, you know? We're like the only adventurers who seemingly can hold their own lately, and you never know when you might need an extra hand, and he kind of buys it. So you guys still get the ship from Rotwin. Most of those events play out basically the same. There is an agent of the church in Isenglade who you briefly encountered on your first visit. He was standing guard at the entryway to House Eisenhall. His name was Claudius Archimed. Yep, Claudius Archimed. Upon your arrival, and your first encounter with Ramir Dragnel, Ramir shares with you earlier the story of Alana and Winter's mother dying in the fire. And you actually spend a tiny bit of time with him in Isenglade, finding records that show that that Claudius was the one who started the fire. Seemingly in partnership with this fiend Selaman. And when you take this information to go confront the noble house about it to try to make any progress, Claudius and Selaman wind up escaping from the city. Which means the influence of the cult of the trapped goddess is now less in the city of Isenglade. Which, while you might not know it, is very important. You guys get the chance, upon bringing this information to light, to meet the nobles of House Eisenhall. And while you do not have the best time talking with Harkin, you do manage to meet his soon-to-be wife, Catwin, who gives you contact to meet with one of the other soon-to-be heirs, or soon-to-be, heirs is a bad word because I use it for other things, soon-to-be betrothed of the noble houses. And you manage to have a very brief meeting with a young girl named Eliza, who is to be married to the head of House Yalzin. You learn from this meeting that I'm really glad this is all being recorded because you're gonna need it. Maybe you learn that Eliza is being wed to the head of House Yalzin for the protection of the continent. She is the younger sister of the head of the Red Mantis, and House Yalzin managed to capture her, and in order to try to keep the Red Mantis in check, have agreed to let her marry into House Yalzin, kind of making sure the head mistress of the Red Mantis knows that if they step a little too far out of line, anything could happen to her. This is important not necessarily because of the dynamic it has with the Red Mantis, but because you all find out that the real younger sister is actually being held in a cellar, and the one you meet is actually the one you meet is actually she's actually a long-term friend of House Yalzin who is able to shift form. Just like Sarah Line, who you met in House Bismarck on your brief jaunt there, to learn about a little bit more about him, when you learn that Sarah Line was a silver dragon embedded to House Bismarck. This Eliza, who's posing as the younger sister, is a gold dragon. Upon meeting her, Jules receives an upgrade to Venom Spitter. She blesses the bow, as you need the gold dragon and the green dragon. She blesses the bow to its awakened form, Eternal Venom Spitter, which I will give you that in your inventory. In addition, Grant, upon because you wind up meeting Eliza first, when you do talk to Saraline, she actually takes notice that you wield Frost Shatter. And because she sees that you have Venom Spitter in your party that has already been blessed by the Gold Dragon, she awakens Frost Shatter to its eternal state as well. So you receive an upgrade to your weapon on top of that too. So I will get both of you those. So the bow and the staff are now in their awakened state. For what it's worth, basically all the numbers increase. It goes from +1 to +2. It goes from 1d6 to 2d6. And you both get an action that lets you do additional damage once per long rest, just like Titus's sword. So off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure Grant's is a dex save to any amount of creatures within 60 feet of you that you choose have to make the save. And if they fail, they take 4d6 cold and 4d6 bludgeoning or piercing. You get to pick between the bludgeoning or piercing, depending on how you conjure the ice shatter.
Right.
Jules' bow, as an action, again, once per long rest, you are able to target a number of creatures up to your intelligence modifier to make an attack against them. When you, if you hit them, they take the poison. They take the normal bow damage plus the poison damage. They might take a little more on top of it. I don't remember exactly. And they have to make a save. I want to say a DC 18 con save or be poisoned. Till the end of till your next turn. I have this already made. I will give them to you. I'll put them in the inventories later. Largely the most recent steps of your journey have been the same. Outside of getting those additional weapons, you wind up coming to the cave. Instead of Ramir Dragnell trying to persuade you to go back in time and help save Alana and Winter, Ramir gives you some additional information. Seemingly at the risk of ignoring the risk of having been followed, he just tells you some things. Since you have helped him on this timeline investigating Claudius, and you know the truth, and he's explained it to Alana so that she knows, though Winter doesn't seem to really be interested in hearing it. Ramir tells you the current state of things right before you step into Hymm's cave. The Red Mantis, just as when you arrived at Wesma, the Red Mantis were again still not present. Talrus still receives the weapon. He ousts the Drow Queen just as you all. That process still follows through right. Ramir tells you that the reason why the Red Mantis are not present in Wesmar is because they have already moved through Isenglade. Though they can't move as efficiently, it takes them longer to do so. They are not as fortified as they would have been previously if things had not changed. He informs you they have moved through Eisenhall. And right now, as you are talking, the rest of the allies that the Cult of the Trap Goddess has are moving through Isenglade as well. Meaning that with enough action, you could catch some of them off guard on their way towards the Temple of the Trapped Goddess, potentially preventing them from actually fortifying and having a large force. You are on a better timetable to kind of tear apart the allegiance that Winter Xarxes has with a lot of these people. He does not have the time to give you exact details, but the notable players he highlights for you that you have to still be careful of, implying that after he leaves here, he's probably going to go do his own thing. He warns you of the blood mistress of the Red Mantis, Alana Xarxes still, along with Winter, obviously. Adeline, who is no longer posing as a to-be-wed to House Zarth. At this point, because of your warning to Brutus and having kind of a solid interaction and proof, Brutus is able to convince Calvin to call off the wedding. And what you guys do not know is that while you've recently been adventuring through Mar and coming back up here to the cave in Wesmar, Calvin Zarth originally had gone missing. That no longer happens in this timeline. Calvin Zarth is still an active member of the Concord and is now more wary of Adeline's actions. She has stopped going by the title of Adeline Zarth. She has basically come full front out to say it and express. She has gone back to using her name as a bloodlord from the continent of Andred, as Ada Rosenhall. Her doing that makes her presence much more felt and makes her much more known of a threat to the Concord. In addition to Ada, Winter, and Alana, and the Blood Mistress, you know that there are 3 generals of the orc camps that came up from the swampland south of Dravegan and Wesmar. They are marching alongside Winter, assuming that they will get a better end of the deal supporting the trapped goddess. In addition to that, the Goliath tribe is being led by a very, very powerful general as well. So you know of those 4 entities that would have to be dealt with. In addition, as you guys, after Ramir gives you this information, you're still aware, by the way, that Ada Rosenhall, the Red Queen, has still at her service the fake Gustav Rotwin, who is some kind of powerful fiend. You know they still have Selaman, and you know she still has that Shadow Dragon, who is kind of enslaved to her. But once Ramir kind of gives you this information, he starts to head out. And as you guys enter the cave, you start to hear immediate sounds of like swords and like bows and arrows, and you kind of rush back out, and you see that there were 2 Red Mantis assassins who were following Ramir. But you guys are in such a better place that you are surprised to find that that they were caught off guard, because you had also, though you had expected them to be on your boat, they had actually made way to meet up with you here in Wesmar. And the ship's treasurer, whose name I have to get, because I don't remember off the top of your head, your guys' ship's treasurer, Kelvis, Arona, the Elven man, brings with him the trader, Hamza. He brings Jerome Nighthowl, one of the mercenaries you guys picked up on the crew, and Johnny Nux, and the 3 of them, Hamza, Johnny Nux, and Jerome, managed to fight off the 2 assassins and actually defeat them before you can even get out to try to help. And they let you know that they'll do the cleanup here. You guys go in and talk to him. When you get out, they let you know they have important information to share with you. Things are starting to move, and they know where you gotta go next after you talk to him. You guys come into Hymm's cave. Hear more for a conversation about learning about Orsis, the owl of the beast of the beginning. You talk a little bit about the Titan still and the Ruby Conductor. To prepare you, Hymm bestows upon you this feast, just to kind of pick you all up after your fight in the Wesmar Mountains, in the Bloodstained Peaks. You guys rest, and when you wake up, he is ready to bestow upon you a couple of things. When you wake up, Grant, we'll talk about this at the start of next session. You are going to have a blessing from the Beast of the Beginning in place of the stopwatch.
Oh.
You will learn what that is next session.
Cool. Still get something.
Jules, you are going to be given a vial of blood.
Oh, I want a vial.
What?
Hymm explains that it is the blood of a platinum dragon.
Oh.
If you manage to defeat the shadow dragon, enslaved to Ada Rosenhall, the Red Queen, you should be able to find within its scales and flesh a dagger. And applying this platinum dragon's blood to the dagger will awaken it. So you won't have to come back to him to get the awakened form of the dagger. But you also still need to acquire the dagger. He describes it as an ethereal shadow-like dagger that seemingly is able to ignore defenses better. He gives Titus the activating orb for the Ruby Conductor, which means that Titus only has the orb that Solomon has, and the orb that you guys know is seemingly out in the middle of the ocean. Left. Elwin, he blesses and enhances your flute. I will have that ready for you for next session as well. To give you an idea of what it's going to do, you're going to have a certain amount of charges, and depending on how many of those charges you use, it'll enable you to use different healing and supportive magic without using spell slots.
Dope.
It will also it'll also give you a +5 to all Constitution saving throws.
Thank God.
Made to keep concentration on buffing spells for allies.
Thank
So
God.
specifically, when you're concentrating on a spell that benefits an ally, you get a +5 on those saves. It's still good. The flute is still going to keep its original effect too. It's going to gain some additional things as well.
The skin flute.
Oh, Matt knows.
Oh, you can play my skin flute, Tanner.
Penis.
You guys have, for what it's worth, Hymm does still talk to you about the stopwatch. It kind of just comes up in conversation about his time fighting the Titans. You go a little bit more into that, because he talks more about what he considers to have been a failure, about how he didn't feel like he was ready the first time, and he had to use the stopwatch to try to save his comrades. He still gives you the same spiel about fate, about it not working, and kind of when you all hear it, there's this little part of your brain that's like, that sounds so familiar. Just the mention of the stopwatch. Kind of like the lingering effect of still knowing you maybe had used it once before that thought fades from your brain.
Right.
That should be everything that gets caught back up here. Grant, as for what you're doing now, First Slave wanted you to continue this journey to get the pieces of the Ruby Conductor. In terms of what his role is, he does not really have... He has less of a cult of the Frozen One and more of a small, dedicated faith centered in Ruba. You have not really talked with him about bigger picture of what he is. You don't quite know. You just know he's a powerful entity.
Right.
And talking to Felicia gives you an idea that he's on the level of a god, if not a god. She seems to hold that information still a little before you get there. Your last conversation with him was more so after you meet him, before you start to march west of Isenglade to take on Winter. You will meet him again, and you'll discuss the role you and him are both going to play in cleaning this up. And that's the way he phrases it. Implying that he's going to take an active role in this endeavor. With that, though, you guys have managed to defeat Yelkin, the champion, the once champion of Ezendel.
We're crazy.
And as
Wait,
such,
Sean,
yeah.
what happened with the Titans then? If like the whole time changed? Did you tell us that?
So, upon knowing that the Titans are going to come back, Frisliv does a better job of communicating with him. They actually get to meet and talk. And Hymm kind of takes a stance that he still wants to be the one to take the chance at it, but he gets additional training from Frisliv that improves the longevity and the chances of winning the battle. It almost seems like they kind of have this sense that they shouldn't try too much. They have no way to fully do anything else besides defeat the Titans. And they decide that it is better for Frisliv to focus on other things on the continent at the time than aiding him in fighting the Titans once more. He trains him for a bit in preparation for their return. And when Hymm told you that his friends lived 5 years after the fight, upon going back in time, they lived like an additional 5. They lived like 10 more years. And he seems a little happier. He has a couple more trinkets around the room, like he adventured a little more. He kind of wins out a little better, but still, something still can't be changed.
Right.
With that in mind, I would say you guys probably learn about the options to, you learn more about the Titans earlier. You're much more aware of what they are. You have much more reason to want to seek out these orbs, more often than just by pure chance.
Right.
You're a little more guided in that regard. And you learn kind of in a very serious conversation with Frisliv, the exact set of events of the timeline of Ruga. Basically, what he knows is he grew up with a foster mother in the city of Isenglaid, which was a much smaller kind of village or town when he was younger. He learned at a young age that his mother had left him with this barmaid, and she took care and raised him. And eventually, he learned that his father was a hero to the continent, who was able to keep at the time the then two kingdoms from tearing each other apart. The people of Eisenhall were very happy to tell him of Isenglaid. Were very happy to tell him about his father, about him being a knight. That his father seemingly fell in love with his mother, who, after enough descriptions, Frisliv learns is Esendel.
Right.
That before his birth, she actually killed his father to spare him from what she considered to be a cruel fate of watching all the peace he made fall apart to shambles, believing that the world would never truly be peaceful, and that his optimism was a flaw that would eventually kill him anyway. So Frisliv goes on. He becomes a warrior himself. He trains. He fights for the kings. He takes on the Titans. None of this has changed because this is all before you save him.
Right.
But you're able to learn this exact timeline properly instead of mixed stories.
Right.
He still carries out his fight against the Titans. He just wounds them and puts them into a slumber. He doesn't actually defeat them and set them into their cycle of giving back to the land. He does get chased down. You guys save him. He gets the message from you, and he waits, kind of. You know, he helps a lot of the tribes get back to where they were, bury the dead, apologizes, kind of make peace with a lot of them. And he kind of just sits by and watches as a couple of other things happen, trying to pick up on a trail of whatever Esendel might have been doing on the continent. Like her influence. He learns that Esendel, before she was sealed away, had another child. She had a child with... even he is not sure which of the two kings was the father of this child, but you learn it's Hymm. Hymm is born from a romantic evening of one of the two emperors in Esendel. And somewhere, through heritage somewhere, Hymm finds out he has the blood of a platinum dragon, and as he is preparing to take on the Titans, receives a blessing from the then god Bahamut, who you, upon hearing that name, do not know who that is because he no longer exists. He's been replaced in the pantheon by Darlock. But Hymm received this blessing from the god of metallic dragons, the platinum dragon himself, and fully took on a transformation into a platinum dragon, able to then revert back to his human form. Hymm then carries out the fight against the Titans. He then comes back after slaying them and manages to convince the two kings of the Empire of Bismarck and Tolson to make peace and to instead tear down their empires and create the Concord. All of this is how the events actually happen. Nothing has really changed. Outside of until when the Concord really starts to gain ground and they attempt to go and rat out some of the tribes, they get a little bit more pushback from First Liv and Hymm than they did prior, and that's part of the reason why the Soul Lights are able to survive a little better. Outside of that, there is not much other change.
Cool. Well,
and with
that's
that,
exciting.
With that, you guys have defeated a substantial enemy and made a major milestone. You have changed the future and the past, and as such, you guys are level 15.
Holy shit.
Feel free to roll your HP. Roll it twice and take the higher number. That's how I'm doing it from now on. There's no funky adding the numbers together.
I roll a d8.
Oh, what do I get, bro?
Let's do a quick little look. 15.
Oh, I got an 8 on the first roll, Sean.
Nice. 15th level, Mike. You get a Misty Arcanum.
Do I?
Yep, you get an 8th level spell.
Ooh, yippee.
You also learn a new spell,
7.
and you get an extra invocation.
Just like I just leveled up, you know, just a little bit ago, too, you know what I mean?
Vinny, if he's awake, he might be asleep, which is fine.
I think I rolled the wrong dice.
Vinny's sneak attack dice goes up, and he gets Slippery Mind. Which means that he has proficiency in wisdom saving throws now. Let's see, Matt.
Hello, I don't get anything.
That's not true. You get an 8th level spell, my man.
Oh, true. Okay, I didn't see that.
You get your first 8th level spell slot.
Cool. Alright, well, good session. I'm
Yep.
gonna go to bed.
Which is completely understandable. Tanner, your Bardic Inspiration goes to a D12, and you get an 8th level spell slot.
I do be getting the spell slot.
And that just means take a look at good old Titus. He's gonna be getting he gets a Battle Master thing this level.
Alright, good night, guys.
I'll be going to bed.
good
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
session.
Good sesh.
Oh, when he rolls initiative with no superiority die, he gets to gain 1 back.
Oh,
I don't know
let's
how
see.
often that will be
8th level
happening,
spells:
but-
anti-magic field, control weather, earthquake, holy or
But yeah, that'll wrap up that. Which, if I'm being honest, we probably have 1 session of large-scale conversation. Which, Matt, you get to be the one who knows this, and anybody who watches the VOD for the information. We have probably 1 large-scale conversation session left, and then just kind of combat, cleaning up the
Nice.
end half of the campaign. And then there, and I mentioned, I don't remember if I mentioned it to you, Matt. I mentioned it to somebody for sure. What will most likely happen is, I think I told Dylan, you guys will finish out the major plot point with the Titans and the Cult of the Trapped Goddess. And then if you are all down to still do it, which we don't have to, we would probably do another 1 or 2 sessions that clean up some loose ends. That I think are thematically a better ending point.
Yeah.
Because I have a very particular thing I think would be cool to do at the end of the campaign.
Oh, aliens arrive.
Yep, it loops right in the Baldur's Gate.
Nice.
So that your characters can get sucked out of my world into Baldur's Gate on the non-void. And that's when Boris finds out he's actually the Dark Urge. But yeah.
Hey, Boris been a good guy. He's a good guy.
Matt, since you don't want to hear, I get to tell you. So that thing at the start of the fight with, at the start of each round with Yelkin, that is a lair action, where every creature within the effect of the sealing spell, which is 200 feet of him, makes a con save. The DC was 16. If you fail, you take 2d8 magical slashing, and then each time after you fail, the damage increases by an additional 2d8. And it goes all the way up to 8d8, which you guys did quite get to.
No.
You guys did. None of you had to take 3d8 from it.
Yeah, we
4d8.
went 3 rounds into it.
Yeah, and you guys only had 2 fails total.
Yeah, because I made the first one, lost the second too.
Yeah. And yeah, you got the total amount of slashing damage between you guys and the amount of warriors who failed was 355. He needed 400 for. So basically, he probably had one more round of the slashing damage taking effect, and then the next start of the turn at the lair action, instead of you guys taking slashing damage, the sealing would have happened.
Yeah.
Which is why, like I said to Vinny, you kind of had 2 more rounds to try to get him down. But yeah, you got him. So he was technically statted as an 18th level paladin with a couple of different things. So the vow of enmity and a couple of other things were from a paladin of vengeance.
Okay.
And then he actually had the spell list of a oathbreaker, just because it was more fitting.
Yeah, for him.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah, and then what you guys didn't get to see, because Dylan didn't wind up taking the slashing damage again. His weapon is a +3 mace that deals 1d8 plus 8. Well, 1d8 slashing. 1d6 slashing damage plus 4d4 slashing damage on hit. So it does a d6 and 4d4. And then if the creature fails the DC 18 con save, the next time they take slashing damage, they take an additional die.
Damn. I like that. Dylan would have got fucked on.
Yep. And as one of his legendary reactions, when he tried to hit Dylan, if that attack would have hit, he would have made an attack with the mace, but that attack itself also would have done an additional 2d6 slashing. So if he had gotten hit by that additional legendary action attack, he would have took 4d6 slashing and 4d4 slashing from that one attack. That was very much a fight meant to get taken down quick. And if Mike hadn't rushed towards Frisley, he would have had to make a couple of rolls to see if he got there in time. So he was smart to do that. So overall, a very good fight for you guys.
Made it through it. We survived another day.
Yep. And I just have a bunch of fights and magic items I gotta pen up to make sure you guys have everything.
Yeah, I think whenever it just like goes back in time, it's like, oh, you unlocked this and this and this. And I was like, oh.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There were ways for you guys to get those, which were mainly convincing the characters who were the dragons, to give them to you before you head into the final stretch. But you would have had to actually convince them. But this way, you guys just get those. Well, they just get those, and then and Vinny was always gonna get this vial of blood from him. It was just he didn't mention it beforehand because he didn't want to say, "Here's another thing I'm gonna give you." And with this, this means that Dylan's sword is maxed out, Vinny's bow is maxed, Mike's staff is maxed. Vinny has half the piece for the dagger. He still needs to get the actual dagger. Dylan's armor is max. Yep. Oh, and then you're almost at the Ruby Conductor. You're so close.
Oh, I want to train so bad.
To it being done. 2 more left on the Ruby Conductor. You have finished out the helm, which you now have.
Yep.
Vinny's finished his book. Tanner has the flute done now. It was gonna be something else, but it didn't wind up working, so he got the flute this way. And the stopwatch is done, and now he has the blessing. Which I have to figure out exactly what I'm gonna give him. But yeah, it was a good session, so I'm glad you guys could do it.
Yeah.
So, hope you have a good night, Matt. I will see you Monday. We'll talk Monday probably for Vinny's campaign.
Sounds good to me. See you then, Sean.
Yep, have a good night. Bye-bye.
Night.